Good morning, everybody. How are we feeling? Brilliant. Well, we nearly didn't get here this morning. I mean, look outside. Blue sky, it stopped raining. We had thick snow. Thick snow. Unbelievable. -1, frozen roads, thick snow. And I thought, am I going to get here? And of course I'm going to get here. I can't let you all down. Thankfully, I've got a big kick-ass truck that will go anywhere. And so it wasn't too much of a problem. Before we get into the day, I just want to start by recognising Chris Goldsborough. Because today, 26 years ago, she said yes. Not, that wasn't to her husband, by the way, that was to forever. She wasn't married then, that is very true, that is very true. And she'll probably tell you her story a bit later on when she shares the stage with you. So, for those of you that don't know me, I'm still Jane Leach, and I've been with Forever now for 30 years. I was 12 when I started. And it has been an incredible journey. And in many ways, it really excites me standing here, knowing so many of you are new, just starting your journey, as I was all those years ago, full of hope, full of excitement, full of anticipation, but equally with that little voice going, can I do it? Will it work for me? So who's new in the room? Who's put your hand up? Go on, don't be shy. Who is feeling some of those emotions right now? That's good. You need to feel them because those are the emotions that will drive you, that will empower you, and will help you get towards your goal. Building a forever business is really, really simple. Most people overcomplicate it. And in overcomplicate it, they actually stifle their own growth. We get paid to use and sell the product. And I'm going to use the word sell. We can make it sound all pretty and nice. We retail, we conversationally recommend, we sell product. Product needs to go out to end users. End users need to enjoy it, recommend it on, and also come back for more. We also share the opportunity. And in doing so, we recruit people into our team, and then we teach them to do a few simple things. Use the product, share the product, recruit people, and teach them to do exactly the same. That's the simplicity of the business. That's what has allowed me to be hugely successful, alongside a few other things, of course, in Forever over the last 30 years. I've kept it simple. Because in this hectic world that we live in today, if people come and look at your business and you've overcomplicated it, the first thing they'll say is, I can't do it, I haven't got time. But if you just keep it really simple, they'll go, yeah, I can do that. So today is about simplifying it all, showing you how to create and develop a business that's going to allow you to become a supervisor. And if you can become a supervisor, you can teach others to become supervisor, which means you'll go on to be manager. And when you get to manager, happy days, because that's when it all kicks in. So I want you to bear that in mind. So, slides. No. So are you ready for success? I want to very quickly touch on the success wheel for you. I want you to become a student. I want you to become a student of this industry, of this company, of this product range. And you do that by developing your understanding of what you're involved in. It's really important that you have knowledge, because there are going to be people that will throw questions at you. There are going to be people that will challenge you. There are going to be people that will laugh at you, ridicule you, and there'll be people that will join you. And if you don't have the knowledge you need to respond, to educate others, then there will come a point, if I'm being totally honest, where you might say, this is not worth it. And I bet every leader in the room will agree with me when they say there has been a point in their journey when they go, it's too hard, it's too difficult, can't do this. So you get your understanding through your videos, your books, your trainings, and your activity. You need to become a sponge. Read the right books, but only read the books that are recommended to you. There's a lot of people that have written books that actually have never built a network. You want to learn from those who have done what you want to achieve, and have built the lifestyle that you want to emulate. As you begin to read and understand, your belief will grow. And your belief needs to be focused into these 4 key areas. Network marketing, a greatly misunderstood concept in business. And this is where you are going to have people challenge you. And, you need to be prepared for challenge. When people say, oh, you're in network marketing, is it that pyramid stuff? Has anybody been asked that? Is it that pyramid thing? And here's the thing, very often, certainly me in my early days, I would defend that. I would try and defend it rather than educate. And I think that's what we do when we're not familiar with the right words to respond with. We defend, and in defending, we cause a little bit of conflict. Nobody wins. So what we do is we educate. So if someone says to you, is it that pyramid stuff, that pyramid thing? You say, that's an interesting question. What makes you ask? And if you're not writing these down, you're missing golden nuggets. So those who haven't got your pens in your hand, pick them up. Because one idea, one line, one sentence, one good thought could be the difference between success and mediocrity. Okay, so do take notes. So you need to be able to educate people in network marketing. You need to be able to educate people about Forever, and you also need to have that deep belief in it. You need to truly, truly be connected and engaged with the products. You literally, this business can't work without your engagement with the products. And obviously you need to have belief in yourself. And this is a hard one. Most people have their personal belief knocked out of them at a relatively young age. If you think about it, as a youngster, you're always told what you can't do, shouldn't do, mustn't do. You're always hearing the word no. And then you go to school, teachers maybe don't empower you. Then you go to university and you come out and you get into a job and you're put into a box. This is your job title, this is your role. And very often you don't get any recognition, you don't get any thanks, and your belief actually is not in a good place in yourself. Then you turn on the news, the radio, and you read all that. That's enough to frazzle anybody's mind. So that what I'm talking about is you've got to layer yourself. You've got to internalize positivity at all times. Because the more that you internalize positivity and the good stuff, then the quicker you will believe in your own ability. I hear people say, well, I don't believe I'm worthy. I don't believe I can do it. I don't believe. Every single one of you in this room has got the magic inside you to be an outstanding, successful, forever entrepreneur. Every one of you. Every single one of you. And don't forget that. Okay? Now, as your belief grows, then you'll find that you'll be committing more and more and more to the business. And the commitment comes in several different areas. You need to commit time. I see so many people who literally get involved in Forever and they feel that they're entitled to success. Well, the reality is you're not entitled to success. You're going to get success, but only if you put time into your business. If you come in and play it, it will cost you money. And if you come in and you treat it like a business, it's going to make you a fortune beyond your wildest dreams. Some people say to me, well, how long will it take? And I say, how long's a piece of string? Your journey is your journey. Depends what you're prepared to learn, the pace, the activity, the commitment, all of this is relevant. But you need to put time into your business. You need to do your list of people that you know. And again, I see people half-heartedly jot a few names on a bit of paper and think they're going to get wealthy. I was one of those people in the early days. You know why? Because I didn't understand. Right back to the circle one. And it's when you've got that understanding and then you begin to commit. We've talked about being a product to the product. We also need to embrace being coachable. In this business, you are so fortunate in that your success will come through not only your own activity, but the activity of your sponsor and upline senior mentor, who will put time into you to help you grow and develop, but not if you're not going to put time back in and show your commitment. And above all, one of the most important things is you've got to be 4cc active every single month. Now, 30 years ago when I met Forever, there wasn't a beautiful head office. There wasn't phenomenal trainings. There wasn't we didn't even have mobile phones. There you go. I was a bit of a dinosaur, isn't it, really? But I remember going to an event where there was probably about half a dozen of us there. And I remember being told about the 4case credits. And I thought, well, I don't really truly understand that. But here's my logic. If that's what the companies say we have to do in order to get paid, then I'll tell you something, I'm never going to miss those 4case credits. Ever. If that's the one major discipline we have to learn, I'm all in. And shall I tell you something, in 30 years, I've never done 4case credits. You're probably going, wait a minute. No. I've never done 4case credits. See, I don't work to mediocrity. Sorry. I've never done 4case credits. I've never done 4.01 or 4.02. I always do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in a month. Why? Because I'm engaged with the business. That's my commitment. And commitment leads to action. As we say, use the product, share the opportunity, and teach others to do the same. And you do it, and you do it, and you do it, and you do it, and you do it until what? Until you get to what matters most to you. And then actually, it's not about you. It's about helping others to achieve what matters most to them. And of course, that results in money. Now, some people think that's a funny word, don't they, money? But you know, this is not about chasing money. This is about building an income where you can earn money that will, first of all, take the financial pressure off you. Secondly, enable you to be comfortable. Thirdly, enable you to have a bit more than you thought you were ever going to have. And fourthly, to actually make a difference with money. You know, we have a charity in Malawi where we've built a hospital, and we built a maize mill, built the school, we've taken water to it, because once you've got enough of it, you can do a lot of good with the surplus. So money comes as a result of taking action. You get more time. Have you ever noticed how some people have got all the time in the world but no money? Or all the money in the world but no time? Forever's the perfect business model because it allows you to have balance between time and money. In other words, if you want a day off, take a day off. You're the CEO of your own business. Take a day off. You don't have to ask anybody. And it's so good to be able to be totally in control of money, time, having fun in what you do, and equally being recognised for a job well done. If you think about being in a job, most people only get recognised when they've done something wrong. In Forever, I think most of you have already gleaned that there's a lot of recognition and saying, well done, good job. But don't become complacent. Yeah? Don't become complacent just because you've had a pat on the back. That's just a reinforcement that you're on track. You keep action. Now, what happens when you get to the results? Your understanding is greater, which means your belief is higher, which means you've got a bigger commitment, which means you take more action, which means, of course, you get more money, success, recognition, all the good stuff. So this concept wheel is really interesting, especially for those of you that are first setting out in the business. It's really interesting because all the components interlink and all of them are really relevant to your success. Of course, it's all driven by your why. And we'll talk a little bit more about that a bit later. But your why is the driver. Why are you here? Why have you joined? Why are you doing Forever? There needs to be real clarity on that. Real internal excitement and harmony. A real burning desire to achieve something that's important to you. Not a wishy-washy one. A deep down burning desire. So, let's take a look at the marketing model, which allows you to achieve what matters most. And again, I think the marketing model is largely misunderstood when people look at it. It's actually really, really simple. But if you're anything like I was when I first started, all the numbers and the percentages and the positions and the growth, it kind of went over my head a bit. The beauty about Forever is you earn while you learn and you learn while you earn. But the one thing that we do have to understand is the backbone of the business, and that's understanding what we call case credits. And case credits are Forever's internal currency. And the reason it's an internal currency is because we as a company trade in over 130 countries. And that means any one of you can have a business in another country without even leaving your own home. So, for example, I've got a business in 40 countries around the world now that pay me every single month. Some of them are small, $100, $200, and some of them are thousands and thousands of dollars. But I don't have to worry about the currency. So when I speak to my European team and the euros, I don't need to worry because we talk about case credits. When I talk to my African teams, whether it's the rand or the naira or the shilling or the kwacha, I don't need to worry because we have a case credit. So the case credit is the internal currency that the company have put in place. And we speak in case credits all around the world and for everything that you are working towards by way of achievement on the marketing plan and incentives. So a case credit in the UK is worth around 200 at wholesale, 286 at retail. And when you place an order with the company, your minimum order once you've got to your minimum order is £50. And every time you place an order, you'll have a receipt. And at the bottom of your receipt, it will tell you what you've bought, what you've paid for it, and what your case credit value is. And you need to monitor those case credits religiously, and you can do that on your 360 app. So in real time, you can see your case credits. We talked about the 4CC business building discipline, and I want to reiterate it. We do it by using the product, sharing the product, recruiting people into our team. That's how we do the 4 case credits. So every time you buy a product for your own use, it goes towards your 4 case credits. So use the product. I wouldn't want to come in any one of your homes and see a product similar to Forever in your bathroom. And if I did come into your home and saw a product similar to a Forever product in your bathroom, I'd put a little notice on it. And that little notice would just say, no CCs here. Okay? So when you look at what you use personally, your tooth gel, your shampoo, conditioners, deodorants, your face creams, your supplements, your energy products, your sporting products, all of those that you buy for your use serve 2 things. A, your 4 case credits, and B, you're building a belief in the product because you're using it. And when you recommend a product you use, there's a different integrity that you have. There's a sparkle in your eye. There's a authenticity in your heart because you've used it and you're talking from experience. Obviously, when you buy products through personal sales, that also goes towards your case credit. So book your launches, do your pop-ups, talk to people in your communities, share the products at work, share them socially, create this amazing seabed of customers that are going to help you do your 4 case credits. And then, of course, we recruit, because every time we share the business with somebody and they capture the vision of how Forever can be the vehicle to allow them to achieve what matters most, and they invest in this box, that box is 2 case credits, and those 2 case credits go to them and to you. So what's your name? Adetta. Odetta. Let's say I recruit Odetta today. I'm brand new, and she buys a box. That means that box is 2 case credits goes towards my 4. So I'll tell you something. This is about balance. Don't just become a big retailer. Don't just become a big recruiter. Don't just become a big user. Become all of it. Because there could be some months that you'll recruit 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people. Happy days. But there could be months where you don't because of the lead-in time and your activity. So balance is the way that we have a perfect business. So I want you to just give me a big thumbs up. Are you all buying into the 4 case credits? You understand how important it is. It literally, this is the backbone of the business. And once you get it and you do it and you teach it and you instill it, then your business is going to grow. Okay, let's have a little look now at the marketing model. The marketing model never ceases to excite me. Never. I think it's just an incredible it's genius. When Rex created this over 45 years ago, to see it not only stand the test of time, but change millions of people's lives around the world is incredible. It works as long as you work it. So all of your bonuses are paid on the retail ex VAT. Now, when I got my very first bonus check, I thought they'd overpaid me because I thought it was on the wholesale, because you all buy at wholesale. But when you place your wholesale orders at the end of the month, they'll add them all up, convert them to retail, and pay you your bonus. How many of you knew that? Not many of you. There you go. You all get a bigger pay packet than you think you're going to get. No one can overtake you on the marketing model. As I begin to show the marketing model and show you the steps to success, nobody can overtake you, but you can have people in your team that will be more successful than you. So, for example, my sponsor got to the position of Sapphire Manager. I'm a diamond and one of the top 5 in the world of forever. I'm still in his team, even though he's a Sapphire, because I can never overtake him. So, what does that say to you all? It tells you to go and find people that can be better than you, because that's your security. That's your stability. So when you go and share the business with people, go looking for real great quality people. Quality to me means attitude and work ethic. Not necessarily they're a doctor or a lawyer, although I'll take them all. But I look for someone who's got an attitude, a work ethic, and a deep desire to achieve. You get a global opportunity. Who would like to have multiple income streams every single month? It's pretty cool, I can tell you. It's pretty cool. All the positions on the marketing plan are permanent. And again, quite unique in our industry. And this is why you need to understand the industry that you're involved in. Goes back to the concept cycle. But all positions are permanent. And this is totally fair. But it's not always equal. In some other companies, this is not the case. But in Forever, you work hard, you get to a supervisor or assistant manager or manager, and then something could happen in life. And maybe for a couple of months, you need to dip out and sort out a family issue or a personal issue. You don't lose your position. And that is quite unique. So you put the work in and you get rewarded. So all the positions on the plan are permanent. Your income and all of your promotions ultimately are down to you. You can have all the help and the support and the input that we can give you, but ultimately it's got to be your fire in your belly. It's got to be that extra phone call, that extra one-to-one, that extra invite, that extra planning, the extra launches. It's down to you. There's an old saying, isn't there, in farming, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So it's about accepting this personal responsibility for your success. There are layers of support, but ultimately it's down to you. You can never be made redundant, so you've got real security long term. And your ID number, the number that you are allocated when you invest in your box, is a willable generational asset. Now, most people just do not understand the power of that one benefit. If there were no other benefits, that's the one I'd want to keep. Because anybody in a job, you go to work, you work hard, you give some of the best years of your life to a boss who maybe doesn't value you, maybe doesn't reward you accordingly, and certainly doesn't give you any recognition. And then one day, we all move on, and your income stops just like that, nothing for your family. But in Forever, when you build a business, you build it now for a great lifestyle now. And one day, we all move on. You'll be able to leave the income, that ID number, to your loved ones, whoever you decide. And that income, as long as they do the 4 case credits, will come into your family's inheritance every single month. Right now, you should all be going, oh my God, wow. Or are you all stunned? You didn't know that? It's incredible, isn't it? I know, it's incredible. It's incredible. And we've seen it happen. It's very sad when it happens, but the difference it makes in those families' lives is beyond measurable. So those are some of the benefits of Forever. Right, let's get into the nitty-gritty of the marketing model. I'm going to keep it really, really simple. And I thought what I would do, this is a bit cute. This is my first bonuses that I ever got from Forever when I joined in 1993. And I thought I'd share them with you, just so you could see what I did. And if I can do it, you can do it. But more importantly, how relevant to the marketing model it is. I think I'll be all right. But if I do, I'll yell, thanks. I could do with the heater turning off for a minute, though. Whoa. At this end, you're all boiling, and at this end, you're all freezing, right? Sorry about that. Okay, so first position on the marketing model is an assistant supervisor. And an assistant supervisor is somebody who's purchased their Start Your Journey pack. And it's really funny because I only ever say that is someone that's purchased their Start Your Journey pack, because that's all I ever register anybody with. So I have to be mindful to say, or you can do 2 case credits over any 2 months or less. But I never say that, because anyone that joins the business, if they've caught the vision and they possibly can, they need to buy the box. So you buy the box, and that immediately promotes you to assistant supervisor. And that means you now purchase all your products at a massive 30% discount, which means you make a massive markup when you sell them. You, when you recruit somebody, will make a £45 recruitment bonus. £45, not bad. So let's just say as a brand new assistant supervisor, you retail 3 case credits at 30%, you're going to make £255. Now, what difference would £255 a month make to you right now in your homes? I mean, certainly for us when we first started, it was pretty significant. It wasn't where I wanted to be, but never underestimate the power of somebody being able to make an extra £200-300 a month. It's pretty life-changing. Also, it's very reassuring that they can do it. And what does that do? It makes them want more. So your job is to help somebody as quickly as possible make money as assistant supervisor. So my first bonus check. Now, it worked a little bit differently in the old days. So I'm only going to talk about the bonus, because we used to you now buy your products at 30%. Back in the good old days, we bought them and then we got a bonus. We got the bonus separately. It was kind of all done differently. So my first 2 weeks in Forever started on the 13th of August, 1993. I did 8.81 case credits in my first 2 weeks. Yeah. Yeah. With nothing, just a box of products. And I was working full-time, 4 kids, 500 sheep, a dozen horses. So if anybody's sitting here thinking they've got no time, you've got plenty of time. Just where you decide to put it. So my 30% I made when I sold the product, and my bonus check, you ready for this, was a massive £37. And John, bless him, was so sceptical. Did this company actually pay? He put the check on a special clearance, which cost more than £37. But that was it. That was my first bonus check. But I did 8.81 case credits. And all I did I'll tell you what I did. This is how simple and basic I was. All of you should do it. I'd ring up my friend Tina and say, hey, Tina, I'll pop round and have a play date after school. Kids can all play. You and I'll have a catch up and a cup of coffee. Is that cool? She'd go, yep. I'd arrive at her house, put the box on the table and say nothing, not even look at it. Don't even refer to it. And guess what she would say? What's in the box? Now, psychologically, when someone says what's in the box, guess what happens? It means they want you to show them what's in the box. Well, if you go in and say, look at my products, they maybe don't want to see them. But when they ask, you've got them. And that's all I did. Keeping it simple. So, next position on the plan is active assistant supervisor. This is where you are active. 4 case credits, active. You're now going to get a pay rise. You're on 35% of everything you use and you sell. You're getting £54 bonus instead of 45 every time you recruit somebody. See, promoting in the Forever Marketing Plan is very lucrative, as long as you understand where the profit margins are. Now, the beauty about being an active assistant supervisor on 35%, it means that you've now maybe recruited a couple of people and they're on 30%. And the way the marketing model works, it's really simple. Whatever you're on and whatever your frontline personally recruited are on, you will earn the difference. And once you've got that, it's easy. I didn't get that in the early days. I was like, oh, I'm not very good with figures. So if you're on 35 and you've got a brand new AS on 30, what's the difference? So the company will pay you 5% on your brand new ASs. Teaching, coaching, mentoring, guiding, showing. So I really want you to think about that. Oh, so the company reward me on my team turnover. I better become a good coach, a good leader. I better stay one step ahead so I can teach them what to do. So if you look at this, if you retail 4 case credits as an active assistant supervisor on 35%, there's £388. £388, just that is a significant amount of money. But if you recruit 2 ASs as well at £54, there's 108. And if you take this little group turnover and we say 5%, there's £22 there, which is £518 for becoming active and recruiting 2 people. Now, I just want you to think about that because people go, yeah, okay, yeah. Think about it. You've become active, so you've retailed 4 case credits. That's not difficult. And you've recruited 2 people. It's not difficult. And you're getting 500 quid. Or you could go and stack shelves, maybe in an evening in Morrison's. I don't like Morrison's. They gave me a very hefty parking ticket the other day. £100 for being 20 minutes over. Sorry, I digress. But the point I'm making is, if you went to get a second income, i.e. in a job just over broke, you're not going to be bringing into the house flexibly, in your own time, that kind of money. And you can't scale. And if you look at any entrepreneur, which is what you all are now, you need to scale. You've got to scale. You can't be flatlining. So we've gone out from 255 to over 500. It's sounding quite cool, isn't it? So the next position on the marketing plan is this of supervisor. And I want you all to pay attention because effectively what we're going to be doing today is getting you to create your plan. So as a supervisor, you've probably got a team of 3 to 5 people. And collectively, not individually, collectively, you and your team will develop 25 case credits in 2 consecutive months or less. I want you to focus on the word less. Okay? And you'll do that by using and sharing the products, generating your own case credits, recruiting people and teaching them to do exactly the same. But it's quite interesting how the income jumps. So you have got a team of around about 5, 6 people. They're all here. You're on 38. You've got a brand new AS on 30. The difference is 8%. 8% of everything they use, retail and recruit comes back into your pocket. Guys, it's pretty incredible the amount of money that comes back into your pocket. You've got 2 ASs in your team. They're on 35. You're on 38. The difference is 3. So the company will pay you 3% here, 3% here, 8% here, 8% there, and 38 on you. And if you look at that in context, it's 420 for retailing, exactly the same as you did when you were an active AS and a AS. So look at how the money jumps for doing exactly the same thing. And probably a lot of your customers might be repeat now as well. You've recruited 2 people. It's gone up to 59 instead of 54. So you're making 118. And if we look at your team building bonus there, 3 to 8% is 197. £735. Now that pays rent, mortgage, debt, holidays, cars, clothes, fun time, kids, you name it, it makes a big difference. So, bearing in mind these are very old, in my first full month in September, okay, so I did 8.81 in August. In September, I had 4 people in the team, and collectively we did 22.7 case credits in 4 weeks. And my bonus, this was a while ago, my bonus, remember I'd made, in the old days you used to make all this up front, right? So my bonus, because I would only just got to supervisor, so I hadn't clicked in, my bonus was £51.32p. However, I was a supervisor, so I'm maximising the profit centre on the marketing plan. So where do we go from there? The next position is that of an assistant manager. An assistant manager is still doing exactly the same thing as an AS, active AS and supervisor. Use, retail, recruit and teach. They've probably got in their team around about 10 to 15 people. Some will do more than 4, some might do a little bit less. But collectively, you're going to do 75 case credits over any 2 consecutive months. Now, the key on the marketing model is to count 1 month twice, is to be clever. What do I mean by that? I'll share that with you in a minute. Be clever. Don't waste your momentum. Don't waste momentum. So let's have a little look at what happens now. You're going to get a pay rise. You're going from 38 to 43. That's a heck of a pay rise. And if you're on 43, if you look at your front line, it's always based on your front line. If you look at what your front line are doing, you get the difference between what they're on and what you're on. So if you've got an AS there on 30, you're on 43, you get 13%. Well, how about have 10 of them or 11 of them? I mean, we're just giving you an example here. You don't have to have, you can have a lot more if you want. If you've got an active AS, they're on 35, you're on 43, it's 8% on that entire team. And that one could be in another country. 13%, 13%, 13%. So if you retail your 4 case credits, you're making 464. You recruit 2 people, it's gone up to 68 instead of 59, 136. Collectively, that team bonus is about 573, £1,173 as an assistant manager. That makes a big difference. So, very quickly. Oh my God, I've even got my bonus check. Look, we used to get paid in checks then. So, in my second full month, me and the team, we have 13 in the group, so you can see, 13 in the team, and collectively we did 59 case credits. What did we do the month before? What does 22 and 59 make? 22 and 59 make? Okay, what does that mean? Assistant manager. Now, I've used 1 month twice, haven't I? And that's what I recommend. Don't be slow at this. Go, go, go. Because I've been able to piggyback on the qualifying for supervisor and using that as a base month for assistant manager. And my bonus check, remember, I'd only just gone, so the example hadn't kicked in because I'd only done it literally in the last couple of days. Was a massive £186. And now I can see you're all completely underwhelmed. You wait, okay? It's not how you start. Manager, this is it, guys. Write it in your book, star it, highlight it, colour code it, underline it, imprint it on your mind, have it all around your home, have it everywhere. Manager is where you need to be. This is where everything kicks in going forward. Everything. A manager is somebody who has got probably 15 to 30 people in their team, and collectively they have turned over either 120 over 2 months, that was the only rule we had when we joined, or you can do 150 over 3 to 4 months. Okay, entirely up to you, but I would go for the 120 over 2 months. It keeps the check higher. You're going to get a pay rise to 48%. So every time you use a product, you buy it at 48. Every time you sell it, you make 48% profit. And we've got some big retailers in the room that are making not hundreds, but thousands on their retail profit. Now, you're on 48 and you recruit a brand new AS. They're on 30. The difference between 48 and 30 is, it's massive when you see it on your bonus statement. It's huge. I'll share that with you in a minute. You've got an active AS. Maybe they've got a couple of people in their team. They're on 35, you're on 48, you get 13% on them and their team. You've got a supervisor in your team. They're on 38, you're on 48, you get 10% on that entire team. 10%. You've got an assistant manager coming up behind you saying, hey, I'm right behind you, I'm coming. They're on 43, you're on 48. You get 5% on that entire team. What did I say? Maybe 10 to 15 people in that team. Some of them could be abroad. And that equates to around about £1,900 for the month. Now, I just want to share with you what happened, because so September was my first full month. October was my second full month when assistant manager. And then my next month was in November, and everything went a bit crazy. We only put 3 more people in the team. We only had 16 people in the team. But the bonus check was £618 because I'd just gone assistant manager. But at the end of that month, we did 98.32 case credits. What did I do the month before? 59. So 59 and 98. Yes. And most importantly, I've gone manager. So the next month I got paid as a manager, and my bonus check, which makes this all really interesting, I'd only got 19 in the team. My bonus check was £1,658, 30 years ago. But the 18%, we talked about the 18 and 13%. You know, Pam Wadilove, some of you might remember Pam. Maureen, you remember Pam. Will you remember Pam Wadilove? No, maybe not. Would you remember Joe Stokes? Remember Joe? Because Maureen's been with us forever. You know, they put an order in and I get 112 back from the company. There's another order here, £65, £120 back, £139 back. And all I did was teach them how to use the product, and share the opportunity. And there's my bonus check. I keep them all paid by the company with a bank that doesn't even exist anymore. Now, I hope that's excited you a little bit, but the one thing that I want to just top off on is what we call developing a legacy business. This is your multi-generational business that will be there for forever, because forever is forever. So forever are very generous. Once you get to become a manager, your role is to help other people become managers. You know, if I were writing a job spec, that's what I would say. Your role is to develop other managers. Some will develop quite quickly, some will take a little bit longer. But your role is to develop managers. Because what Forever say is when you develop a manager, they're now going to pay you a royalty bonus. Now, I want you just to think about this. If you look in your first steps to manager, when you were a manager, I'm going to promote you all right now to managers, and say you recruited me. Happy days for all of you. And I'm an assistant manager. What did you make on me and my team? Don't be shy, shout it out. 5%. So the company paid you 5% on me, not from me, the company. So if I become a manager on 48% and you're a manager on 48%, what's the difference? So why would you want me to be a manager? Because now, when you develop a manager, a freestanding business, you're going to get 6% royalty, not 5%, so you're going to 1% pay rise, You may not think that means much, but I'm telling you, it's awesome. You're going to get a 1% pay rise called royalty bonus on your manager. Now, we know the average manager, and we have to keep this real. I've got managers turning over $250,000, $500,000 in their pay lines around the world. But we're talking about 15,000 here, okay? So if you take the average manager and you take 6% of 15,000, that's £900 on top of your team building bonus. Because to manager is team building, this is royalty. Different income, it's on top of. Does it make sense? So £900 coming from teaching somebody to become a good, strong manager is your royalty residual income. This is your scalable income. This is what all traditional entrepreneurs look for. Watch the Dragon's Den. What's the first thing they say? Can I scale your idea? No, I can't. I'm not interested. Well, we don't have to invest that much. We don't have to work that hard. We've got this. Maybe I should go into Dragon's Den. There we go. Now, let's just say that you then work with Bill and help Bill develop his manager. And let's say Joe becomes a manager. That's your second generation manager. You get 3% of that. And 3% of 15,000 is 450. On top of the 900 and on top of your team building. It's beginning to look quite lucrative, isn't it? And then you help Bill and Joe find John. John does 15,000 turnover. You get 2% of that. That's £300. So you're earning around about 1,650, plus your typical manager business income of 800 to 2,000. So with a line of managers and your team building bonus, you're making just short of 4,000 a month. Now imagine if you had 5 lines. You know, this is where you've got to start thinking big, guys. We're going to show you the simplicity of getting to supervisor, but you've got to think big. Don't limit yourself. But more importantly, if you limit yourself, you'll limit your team. Because your team will follow your thought process and your guidance. And if you're thinking small, they'll think small. So think big. Open up your mind. Now, if we take that a step further and we look at senior manager. Now, you know, for some of you in the room, you're probably thinking, what manager, assistant manager, active assistant supervisor, case credits, percentages, royalty incomes, 9. You're probably all over the place. Right, I'm just going to give you a word of advice. This is a business. And you need to know where your profit margins are. So whilst it might be little bit sort of all-consuming and a bit chaotic in the mind at the moment, you need to get curious about this. Because this is where you're going to scale and create wealth. So you need to start thinking about 5 key people. That's one of the things I work on very, very specifically. 5 key people recruit as quickly as possible. Now, that's not 5 people who sign a form and buy a box. It's 5 people who are hungry, committed, focused, and taking action. And then you need to identify 2 people that could potentially become manager. And you could be doing that in your first month. You haven't got to wait until you're a manager. Start looking for them now. Because when you become a senior manager, which means you've created 2 managers, your typical income is between late 20s to around about 60,000 a year. Now, by anybody's standards, in a job, earning 60,000 a year is right up in the top 3-4%. But you can do this in 12 months. Because I did it in 12 months. I know other people in the room have done it in 12 months. It's just that laser focus and working smart and hard and understanding that you may need to borrow a bit of time right now in your life by giving up some things that may not be serving you well in order to put this in place so you have a stepping stone to wealth throughout the rest of your life. And then we go to senior, soaring, sapphire, diamond, and diamond, sapphire, and diamond. But the reason I want to give you an overview of this is because manager and senior manager enables you to travel. Who wants to travel? New car? Who wants a new car? Probably didn't pick up any of you, but actually we missed the car in our 4th month by 1.2 case credits. Because we didn't know. No one taught us. That's why we like to teach you now. Okay? Who'd like a share of the company's turnover? Chairman's bonus. But to impress upon you that you need to get off your backsides and go to work. Because the clock is ticking and the one thing we can't get back is time. And if you waste a day or a week or a month, you can't get it back. And we get a week, a month older. When do you want to enjoy this money? Right. Okay, let's go to work. Everybody ready? Has everybody learned something this morning? Well, it's interesting. I spoke to some of you that have been in forever for a while who just said amazing wake-up call. And I've spoken to a couple of brand new people who have just like got it and they're ready to rock and roll. So I think we've had a successful morning, don't you? So I'm looking at a whole room full of wealthy, forever entrepreneurs in the making. Be very interesting to see what the next few months is going to bring. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into sort of the meat and potatoes of looking at activities, looking at the components that we focus on in order to begin to build our businesses. All very simple, all very duplicatable, all very easy to do. And again, some people look at this and go, oh, is that it? Yeah, that's it. And that's why it works so well, because we keep it simple. So our next speaker is an incredible lady. She is senior manager. She's been in the business how long now? 21 years in June. Oh my goodness. And I want to just say that as far as I'm concerned, she is a retail product customer legend. I mean, what this lady does and doesn't know about forever is not worth knowing. She's incredible. Her income just from retailing alone, despite being a senior manager, is incredible. So I want you to open your minds, sharpen your pencils, get your notebooks out, because some of the things she's going to share you is going to be very relevant to your journey, but for the workshop this afternoon as well. So will you please give a huge round of applause to Tina, who's going to come up and share some activities with you.
Hello. Hello forever. Well, what a hard act to follow I've got. I mean, come on. So you're going to have to be really nice to me today, okay? You're going to have to laugh a lot and take lots of notes. And when Jane says to you later, did you learn something? You have to say, yes, you learned the most from me, okay? Because that will go down really well in her books, okay? So welcome to a fantastic day. I know you've had a great start to the day. I've learned loads already because, you know, going over the marketing plan actually reinforced to me why I don't need to be a senior manager anymore. I need to be a soaring manager. So all you guys need to be getting to manager, and I'm very happy to help you. So my journey started with Forever in June. Well, I saw an advert actually in a magazine in June 2003. So a long time ago. July we joined Diana Page's team, and from that day forward, my life changed. She's not here today, but it wasn't just because of Diana. Of course, it was because of this amazing company. So I have a hairdressing background. I had my own hairdressing salon for many, many years, which was extremely successful. And I'm very proud of that. And that's all I ever wanted to do from when I was, 3 years old. That's all I ever wanted to do. I looked up at my mum's hairdresser and thought, I can't wait till I can do that, when I was teeny tiny. So I had a great career, I had a great apprenticeship in London, and then was very fortunate. My dad retired early from the print industry, and he didn't know what to do with his retirement lump sum. And so I said, I know what you can do with it, Dad. You can invest in me. And so he did. And so when I was nearly 20, I had my own business. And that ran very successfully in Windsor in Berkshire for a lot of years. But in 2003, all sorts of things happened. But I just found myself absolutely sick to death of working 60 and 70 hours a week. A lot of responsibility. There was health and safety, risk assessment. All that stuff was becoming really important. And I just thought I need to find something else. Saw an advert in a magazine, and I won't go into the detail, but joined Diana Page's team the month later, and then I retired from the salon in October of that year, which was the plan, and then thought, right, I better get to work on this forever business then. And so it's been an amazing, amazing journey. If you've been in the business a little while, you'll know what the support and the training is like. And that's just been the most amazing thing to be able to transfer to other people, because, if you're helped to do well, then the greatest thing is to pass that information to other people. So today I'm going to just focus on the tracks that the business runs on, because you have to remember that the business is a true track business. And if you grab that with two hands, you're just going to be really, really successful. So as Jane said, don't focus just on retailing. Don't focus only on your recruiting, because if you recruit and you're not retailing, you've got nothing to teach people. So you have to do both hand in hand in order to really open up that marketing plan. So the business is essentially, it's two tracks, and it's combining the efforts of a network of home-based business owners. Now, when people ask you what is network marketing, that's it. It's just combining the efforts of a network of home-based business owners and being able to earn your income by helping other people. Okay, so there's products and there is recruiting, and the two go hand in hand. And so you need to become, first of all, a product of the product. So as Jane said, there shouldn't be anything in your home that you can replace with a forever income that you buy from the high street. So don't spend money on no CCs, because you might just as well have the CC. So first of all, buy from your own shop. So gifts, if you've got people who have got birthdays, anniversaries coming up, new babies, you want to give a retirement present, teacher presents, just buy them from your shop. You've got the most amazing, amazing products. So don't waste money on the high street giving presents by, putting money in the Mr. Sainsbury's or Mr. Marks and Spencer's pocket. When you have tried a product and you understand how it works, you can then recommend it to other people, can't you? It's not difficult that. And as Jane said, when you're using the products and you're recommending a product that you've used for quite a long time, then you have a much, the way you describe it is 100% more, has more passion behind it, because you're actually using it. So it's really, really important to do that. And then the next thing that you're going to want to do, once you get the idea of using the products, you're going to want to start building your Who Do You Know list, because your Who Do You Know list is going to lead you to potential team members, but also some potential customers. And there'll be some people who become both customers and team members. So you need to really, really focus on this Who Do You Know list. And there's many, many people who don't realise and don't take the time to create a really, really good Who Do You Know list. And I would say I was one of those people. When Diana said to me, how many people are on your list? First planning meeting I went to at Diana's house, she said, how many people have you got on your list? And I had a princely sum of 17 on my list. And she said, Tina, you've got 22 staff. How come you've only got 17 people on your list? There's nothing to do with your family, nothing to do with, your neighbours, friends, relatives. And I just said, oh no, they're just the people that I think I'd like to talk to about the products. Who else has ever felt that they would probably just put people on the list that they thought might be interested in something? Well, it's really important that your Who Do You Know list, that's what it is. It's just a list of people that either you know or that know you. Nothing to do with whether or not they might be interested in the business or the product. When I started my hairdressing salon, the first thing I had to do was find a database of people, and all businesses have a database, and it's really, really lucrative. John Lewis won't want their database being infiltrated by Marks and Spencer's, I promise you. So your Who Do You Know list, your contact list, is probably the most valuable document that you will write, and not many people do it properly. So you need to really think about who you know or who they know, because some of those people that you write on your list won't be either customers or team members, but they may well lead you to somebody absolutely amazing in the future. So don't leave any stone unturned. So you've got in your First Steps to Manager, you've got sample pages of how to create your Who Do You Know list. And so please, if you're brand new in the room, your First Steps to Manager has everything in it, apart from your coaching and training from your mentor, but all the documents are in that First Steps to Manager, and you will have access to all the duplicate pages so that you can just carry on making list after list after list. It's really important. When I first started in Forever, there was no social media. So the first thing Diana said was, you've got to start your list. So I did have a mobile phone, fortunately. So she said, take out that mobile phone and write everybody off there, because you've got numbers for them, so they'll be easy to call. And I thought, what does she mean? I've got people in my phone, the man who laid the carpet 6 months before, and the plumber. And she said, it doesn't matter. How do you know what situation they are in? And how do you know who they know? So don't leave anybody off your list. Start with your phone. You've probably got, I think I had 60 contacts in my phone at the time. Now we've got hundreds probably. So write them all down, and then you're just going to go through all of your social media contacts. Think about who you've ever worked with. Even if you didn't like them, write them down, because it might not be them, it might be somebody else that you end up working with as a result. But make the list as comprehensive as you can. It's so important to really focus on that. And if you look at the slide, isn't that interesting? 70% of people will trust a recommendation from someone that they don't even know, but it's a recommendation, a proper recommendation from somebody that's used something, tried something, been somewhere. But if they're from your peer group, in other words, someone you do know, 92% of people are going to trust that recommendation. So if you're going to recommend the drinking gel because you've used it, then you're much more likely to build your gel drinkers and build your supplement drink users from people that you know. And incidentally, when you're looking at, as Jane says, profit margins from the products, focus on the things that run out every month. Tooth gel is fabulous. Moisturising lotions are fabulous. The deodorant, fabulous. But my God, don't they last a long time? So you need a lot of customers if you're just going to focus on drinking gel, on deodorant customers. Focus on the supplements. I use loads of these supplements every day, and I'm fitter now than I've been, since whenever. And I drink lots of gel. 240 mils of gel I drink every single morning, and sometimes I have another 330 ml in the afternoon. You can't drink enough of this stuff. And when people say to you, how come you're always fit and healthy, you don't get cold? I used to have a terribly bad back problem from standing for years. I don't have that anymore. It's all down to these products. But you have to be using them in order to be able to recommend them, because otherwise you're just telling lies. Talk to people about the products that you love. You don't have to get, 200 products in the range. You don't have to use them all every day, but try and use a nice big chunk of them, that's for sure. And then after that, you're going to need to think about, sorry, this is round the wrong way. You're going to need to then think about what you're going to do with that list, and you're going to contact people, and you're going to introduce them to something that could be a real life-changing experience for them. So from your Who Do You Know list, like I say, your personal contacts, people that you meet on a daily basis. I was in the supermarket the other day. There's a lady there, I've seen her many times. She's got a name badge on. Her name's on my Who Do You Know list. I haven't spoken to her yet, but I'm reckoning if I went there Friday afternoon, she's going to be there next Friday afternoon. How do I know whether or not she's very happy? I know from personal experience, and people in my team here today are ex-retail, I'm going to say. And those people are not necessarily in the job for life. How many times do you go to a shop during a week and see people who are not in their job that they really want to be in for life? Well, we have an opportunity to offer those people. It might be right for them, it might not. So work colleagues, people you meet at the gym or in any other activity that you do, people in your local community. I just love to talk to people. And if you say to people, how are you? And then listen, rather than, oh, hi, how are you? And take no notice of what they say, then you're missing a trick. When you say to people, hello, how are you? If they say, yeah, I'm fine, not too bad, then the next thing you should say is, well, that doesn't sound like you're on top of the world. What's the matter? And they'll tell you. people love to tell you what's not quite right. It might be that they hate their job. It might be that they've got another cold. It might be that they've, got to work another bank holiday weekend and they didn't really want to. Hi, how are you? Most people don't say, I feel absolutely fantastic, thank you, how are you? And unless they do, you just say, well, that doesn't sound like you're on top of the world. What's the matter? I tell you, you'll really, really learn an awful lot about people if you just ask about them. So now we're going to look at, now you've got an idea about how to start thinking about your team and where they're going to come from. And now in order to be able to coach that team, you need to be doing 4 case credits, as Jane said. For 20 and a half years, I've done 4 plus case credits. And again, Diana said to me, do 4 case credits, so I did 4 case credits. She said, come to a success day as soon as, in your next month, so we did. It's just, if you really, really feel that you're in the right place with Forever, you need to do what's suggested to you. Because if you do, you will really reap the benefits of the whole marketing plan. So obviously there's lots and lots of activities that have been developed over the last 40 years with Forever. There's many, many things that have come along recently, and there's lots of things that have been around a very long time. But it's just about finding 2 or 3 of the retail activities that you really like the idea of, and then master them. You don't have to do them all. You couldn't possibly do all this in a week or a month, but just find the things that you love. So, my favourites are, first of all, talk to people, because I just think if you can build a bit of a relationship with people early on, then you're much more likely to keep them. The customers that I first got some of the first customers I had was from a WI meeting that I went to. I had a little slot there. About 3 weeks after we joined the business, I tell you, I talked complete rubbish. Probably, I had no idea really what I'd got my hands on. I didn't know very much about the products, but I talked about the ones that I was using, and already 3 weeks in, my back problem from drinking lots of the Forever Freedom and taking Arctic Sea, they were the 2 products that had really started to help my back problem when we got started. So I just kind of talked about those mostly, and then talked about a few of the other products as well. But I had some customers from that meeting, and those customers stayed with me for years and years and years. So you never know when you start to talk to people how much money those people are going to spend with you, and how they'll refer you to many, many, many other people. So don't be afraid to talk to people. So that's one of my favourite things to do. Experience packs were another thing. We called them personal use product packs back in the day, but similar idea. You allow people to try your product for 3 or 4 days at a time, and normally, not every time, but often they will place an order, and then you can use that opportunity to increase your customer spend as well. So customers can be given experience packs as a little reward just for being a customer, but ultimately you're giving them products they've never tried before, and therefore there's an opportunity for you to help them to spend a bit more money with you every month. I always think it's much easier to get your existing customers to spend more money than keep finding new ones. You can have quite a small customer base, providing they're spending, instead of spending their money in their supermarkets, they're spending it with you. There's plenty of case credits to be had just from one single family. So just find the 2 or 3 things that are really, really, that look as though there's something that you can start with if you're new. If you've been around for a little while, then maybe change it up a bit. If you want some new customers, then change up the activity that you do. But as you can see on the screen, there's loads and loads of things that you can be doing. Live launches, I think, are a fantastic way. When you're brand new in the room, you want to get people together and start talking about the products. Obviously, we do a lot of that on video conferencing now. But if you can get people in a room trying the products, there is no better way for people to really feel the value of the products when you actually get them in and on people. It really makes a difference. There's lots and lots and lots of information that you've got to hand from to be able to retail the products. And of course, every Monday evening there's a rolling training, and usually on that rolling training there is a section on retailing as well as sponsoring. So, in conclusion, really, just treat your business like a business. You know, when I started my hairdressing business, we knew there was a certain amount of money that we needed to take every month to make sure that my dad was paid back, and the bank manager was paid, and the staff was paid. Your business turnover is your 4CCs. So you don't have to worry about all the hundreds of pounds I needed to turn over and all the people's mortgages I needed to keep paid, my staff. All you need to worry about that you do on your own is 4CCs, and then, as Jane says, is teach it to other people. So I hope you found that useful. I know you're going to have an amazing rest of the day, and now I'm going to bring Chris onto the stage. Chris Goldsborough is an amazing mentor. She's been with Forever, I think, 26? 26 today, of course it is. 26 years today. And so I'm going to hand over to her now. She's a Sapphire manager in the business, got a hugely successful team of people that she works with, and she's got an amazing reputation in Forever. She's funny. She's got an amazing story to tell. I'm not going to steal her thunder, so please give a big round of applause for Sapphire manager Chris Goldsborough.
Thank you. Will you take a couple of photos? There's nothing like a build-up when you're told you're funny, is there? Oh, blimey. The good news is that the funny bits are just usually true. They're all the things I've done wrong, and that's usually what people find funny. So, great to be here, great to see so many of you here, and great to have my Aloe anniversary. I had forgotten. It was Michael who reminded me. So thank you, Michael. In fact, I argued with him. I said it wasn't today. But he's right. What did you say? The computer never lies. So 26 years ago, it was when last week, 26 years ago, I actually went to one of those product launches that Tina just mentioned. You know, live launches are just so amazing. Anybody else join the business by going to a launch? Yeah, we've still got some people in the room. I know these last few years when we've been locked up, we haven't been able to do live launches, but they are a brilliant way of sharing not only the products, but the opportunity. So went to that launch, met someone called Jane Leach. I didn't know her then. She turned up in a very posh silver Mercedes, parked in front of me. I thought, nice car, wonder what her husband does. And it's true. And then she got a box out the back. I thought, oh, she must be doing that sort of presentation thing. I've been invited by a client. I didn't want to go, but you never know where the client's going to turn up again. So I thought I better had. And there were just 5 of us. And halfway through, Jane said, this is all about the products, obviously. And she said, but I know I am going to mention the business because I know there are 1 or 2 people in the room who are interested. That's a top tip. Write it down. Because we all went. And she said, my background's farming. Alongside my husband, John, I've been building a business for 5 years. And we earn a 6-figure income. So I thought, okay, I'll do it. And found out more about the business. And a week later, came to Longbridge and got registered. I was really excited. My background was corporate life. I'd had 20 years of being a director of various different companies. Good job, good money, no life. Long hours, travelling all the time away from home. I had 2 teenage girls at home at the time. My husband also travelled with his job. And then my mum and my husband's parents, their health started to fail. And I just hit that crossroads. On 2 fronts, really. One, I wanted that elusive work-life balance. I wanted to earn a good income, but I wanted the time to enjoy it. And secondly, I felt the clock was ticking. Life was passing me by. When was I going to start having a great life? And so when I came along, I was healthily sceptical. Oh, Jane's back in the room now. I've just been talking about you. Yeah, if you could leave again, I haven't finished. Okay. So I came along, saw the presentation, and the first thing I thought was, if what they're showing me is true, it would be amazing. So I was very, very excited. I realised I'd got nothing to lose. I was scared. I was, nervous. Would it work? Could I do it? But I just had this feeling in my tummy. My first planning meeting, John, our lovely John, came along, and I said to him, I took half a day off work for my first planning meeting. I was so excited. And he came in and made him a cup of coffee. He'd driven an hour and a half to get to me. And I said to him, I'm really excited. He said, great. I said, just two things. I like to be straight, John, about things. Just two things I'm not prepared to do. I'm not prepared to retail products, and I don't want anyone to know what I'm doing. And I was a dream prospect. And he said, oh, right. He said, so which bit of the business are you prepared to do? I said, I want to work part-time and earn a six-figure income. He said, right then, we've got a bit of work to do. And that's how my journey started, despite being a dream prospect and having to get over myself in many different ways. Within 6 months, I was out of my corporate career. 18 months later, my husband gave up his job to join me, despite the fact that he wasn't going to have anything to do with Forever. So if you've got a partner who is a little sceptical about what you're doing, I suggest two things. One, you get them to a presentation, a success day or some event so that they can see other people. And three, you ask them to give you a set amount of time. I said, give me 6 months and show them the money. When they see the money, it's amazing. It turns into their idea, all from the beginning. So within 3 years of working our business, we were earning that six-figure income. We've had our ups and downs in Forever, like everybody, life's ups and downs. But I can say this business has never, ever, ever let us down. It has always, always over-delivered. And for us to be there for the girls who are now flown the nest with families of their own, to have been there for our parents in sadly what were their last years, and now just to have the most amazing, amazing adventures with our gorgeous grandchildren. That is what has made that one decision the very best decision that I ever made. My eldest grandson, when he was 6, said to me, you have a company, don't you? I said, yes, we do. He said, it's that aloe vera company, isn't it? I said, yes. He said, I'm going to own a company when I grow up. I said, that's great. What sort of company? He said, I'm not going to own an aloe vera company. I'm going to own a bank. So I said to him, I'm not sure you can own a bank. He said, well, somebody does. So, it's amazing how what you do, the trail that you lead, influences not just the people you touch in Forever, but also your family and your family's family as you go forward. So, it worked. I'm not very good at this machine. Self-talk. I'm amazing at this clicker. Okay. So Tina's told us about One Track, which of course, very importantly, is the products, and having a really strong customer base is the bedrock of our business. As Tina said, we can only recommend what we have used ourselves. So what we're going to focus on now is on the other track, which is, of course, building a team. And I love this bit of the new business presentation because it takes me right back. The truth is, I joined this business because I knew 2 people. Yep, I sat in Longbridge Manor and I saw this and I thought, yep, I know 2 people. Sadly, those 2 people said no, which was a bit of a letdown. But of course, the people that I thought wouldn't be interested turned out to be. So you never know. You just never know. Our job is not to cherry pick. Our job is simply to ask the question. So, do you know 2 people? And then all we do is say to those 2 people, do you know 2 people? Now you've got 4. We help the 4 find 2. That's 8. The 8 find 2, that's 16. If we just stop there, that's 30 people. 30 people will make you a manager. So do you know 2 people? So if you haven't yet started to build a team, or you haven't got any key people in your team, a key person is someone whose mouth and feet work at the same time. So they don't talk about doing it, they actually move around and do it at the same time as talking about it. That's a key person, someone who makes a plan and sticks to it. So you need to go out and find your 2. And when you've found your 2, you need to go out and find your 5. So it's a really, really simple process. The danger is it's so simple that we feel we need to complicate it. Because really, it can't be that simple, can it? I used to look at Jane and think, I wonder what she does. It didn't for one moment think she was actually doing what she was asking me to do. I thought, well, I'm an assistant supervisor, and at the time she was a Sapphire manager. I thought, as a Sapphire manager, she must have a whole different job description. But of course we don't. We all do exactly the same thing. We follow the business cycle. So it all starts with that who do I know list, not who am I prepared to list. I had the same one as Tina, except mine only had 10 on it and 5 were married to the other 5. So it is a who knows me list, and every single person that you know should be on it, and that list will stay with you. It will stay with you right the way through your forever career. And then we're going to take a name off that list and we're going to contact them in whatever way you would normally contact someone. Of course, when I joined, we just had one of those things with a curly wire that was attached to the wall. It was called a telephone, and we had to pick it up and talk to people. The hours I spent staring at that phone. But the truth is, however you contact someone, you've just got to get to that point where your why, your goal, is bigger than your fear. There is no one who doesn't fear doing some part of forever. You will always be asked to get out of your comfort zone, because of course, if it was easy to do, then everybody would do it. And so make sure your goal pushes you past. Feel the fear and then just do it anyway. So you're going to make contact and then you're going to share some information with them. Tell them a little bit about what you're wanting them to look at and invite them to the business presentation. Business presentation, of course, will allow people to have a really good overview of forever. The reason we ask people to look at the business presentation is because it gives them the information in the format, in the order, that they can take it in over a short period of time. We allow the tool to do the job. I don't know about you, but certainly the longer you're in forever, you can keep talking about forever, probably for a good couple of hours. And I've seen it actually with people in the team where they've sold forever and then they've bought it back because they've carried on and carried on and carried on. So let the tool do the job, invite people to the business presentation. Of course, at the end of the BP, we're going to say, exciting, isn't it? Write that down. I have never in 26 years had anybody say to me, no. I've had lots of people say no, but when you say, exciting, isn't it? They all go, yeah. Now, then they decide whether they're going to join or not. But it's a really good way of preempting what's coming next. And it stops you saying, what do you think? Now, of course, we have the new Spotlight, which is just coming together. But the idea of the Spotlight is for people who aren't quite sure yet. They haven't got enough information. They need a bit more meat on the bones, as they say, in order to make a decision. So in the Spotlight, you've got things like the marketing plan, all the things that we can't fit in the BP really. So more about how we build a business, and of course the importance of having a goal. So if you follow up on the BP and people say, I'm not sure, need to talk to my other half, all those sorts of things, don't know if it's for me, then I will say, you haven't really got all the information yet, so why don't you jump on our new Spotlight? Please don't call it a training. A prospect doesn't want to go to a training, so that's why we're calling it our Spotlight on Forever event, if you need to call it anything. Of course, at the end of the BP, most people will make a decision. They'll say, yes, it's for me, or no, it's not. If it's a yes, oh, excuse me, if it's a yes, then obviously we get them registered. They order their box, and then you can invite them to the Spotlight as well, because while they're waiting for their box, that gives them something to watch and start getting their head around how they're going to build a business. Once it's a no, of course, a no is always not now. I've had people join me after 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. So fortune in the follow-up, always. So no's not now, that's fine. You go back to them. Those that say yes, we've got them registered. We start to take some action, set some goals, and go to work. And of course, what fuels all of that cycle is your reason. Your reason has to be, as I say, bigger than your fear. So you need to expand your list. Our lives are in 3 sections, really. We've got our past, our current, and our future. And you'll see this diagram in the First Steps to Manager. In fact, everything I'm going to talk about is in the First Steps to Manager. So do take time to really read it, go through it, really familiarise yourself with it. So your past, we need to start at school. I have somebody on my list called Mary Whelan. Mary Whelan was a little girl that I met at 4 years old when I went to school for the very first time. I was desperate to go to school. I loved my uniform. I loved my horrible shoes. I just loved everything about it. And we arrived at the gates of the school, and every morning I would shoot up to school, wouldn't even bother waving bye-bye. I was just so excited. Mary Whelan, on the other hand, she had very long hair, which she wore in plaits, and she wept. She wept every day of school for as long as I can remember. Now, I don't know where Mary Whelan is. I imagine she's married, a family, or certainly she's had a whole life. But I know her, and I know her name, so she's on my list. And that's how you really need to start. Go back to where you started, your jobs. Just follow the diagram, really. So neighbours, where you lived. You know, I had somebody say to me, they had 20 people on their list, so they'd spoken to everybody they knew. At 30, we have 3,000 people we've met. So you really need to dig deep. But somebody said to me, I said, have you got your granddad on? She said, well, hardly, he's 89. I said, but you know him. This is a who do I know list. So once you start expanding your list, you really do need to think of everyone. And so she put her granddad down, and then she said, oh, there's Lisa next door. She's a single mum. People lead you to people. So I can't remember what page this is on, but what is it? 22, thank you. And you didn't even need to check it. So thank you very much. So page 22. So have a look and start expanding your list. Of course, now we have social media. So again, you need to download your social media list. Why? Because when you download your list, obviously you download it for the names, but you need to write out your social media contacts, because as you write them out, you'll find there are people on there you don't know who they are, and you can check up on them and make them more active prospects. When I've been in the business about, I think, 3 years, and I said to Jane, I'll I would talk. She said, I'm not talking to enough. I said, I'm not getting where I want to get. She's not talking to enough people. I said, well, I'd talk to more people if I knew more people. She said, well, get out more. Write that down. Get out more. You know, it's so easy these days. It's even easier these days than it's ever been before to sit at home. And, you know, I think lockdown sort of stopped us going out as much. Well, we know it did. Stopped us going out as much as we did. But there's a whole world out there. I can't remember what training it was, but it's fairly recently. And Lisa Prescott, of course, she lives in my hometown where I was born, up north. And she said, you'll never run out of prospects. There are too many people in the UK. And she said, just Google where you live. Now, I live in a market town. Sadly, Jane Leach lives in the same market town. Yeah, which can be a good thing or a bad thing. As I said to her, I sent her a message 2 Sundays ago. I said, this town isn't big enough for the both of us, because I spoke to a prospect and she'd done a BP with him 2 weeks before. Ugh. Anyway, do you know how many people there are in Monmouthshire? In my small market town? Over 10,000. See, I haven't even got 10,000 people on my list. So we need to get out more and make more contacts. Get more hobbies, get things you're interested in, go and do things, because that will bring you in line with people. So get out in the community. You could buy a dog. Roger's met lots more people since he bought a dog. So you could do that. You could have your nails done, different salon every week. That's great if your other half's a bit sceptical. You're just building your business, it's not your fault. You've got to have your hair done, your nails done, all of those things, and add them to your list. Now, so I just had a look at this actually last night. So my 10 people on my original list. So I didn't bring my list with me, but I had a look on my list last night, and I now have 5,191 people on my list. And of those 5,191 people, I've personally recruited 477. Now, you see, do you think that sounds good? Yeah, I think that sounds good. I wish Jane wasn't in the room at this point. Do you know how many that works out at? That works out at recruiting 2 people a month, on average. Where would I be if I'd recruited 4 a month? You know, it sounds a lot, but over time it just isn't. And that's why it's so important to monitor your activity, focus your activity on where you want to get. Obviously, over 26 years of ups and downs, we've had parents to look after. You know, there'll be times when I've spent more time on my business, times when we've spent less time, like you do over a lifetime. But your list is what will stick with you and what you need to be constantly growing. So, what do we do next? Well, we take a name. Got enough hands? We take a name off the list and write a profile. Now, I have to say, this is the bit that a lot of people miss out. They just take a name off a list and they pick up the phone and make a call. I can tell you, with all my experience of working with a great many people over the years, that you will make a much better phone call when you do a proper profile. And a profile is just where you're going to sit and think about the person you're going to talk to. When I first started in Forever and I looked at the people on my list, I was very nervous of calling everybody. I thought this was brilliant, but I didn't think anybody else would. And that's what I worried what people would think of me. Anybody else worried what people might think of you? Anybody else pays your mortgage? Anybody else send you on nice holidays? They won't, will you? Who cares? Who cares what they think of you? Zig Ziglar has an amazing quote which I love. At 20, we worry what people think of us. At 40, we don't care what people think of us. At 60, you realise they're far too busy and they never thought anything about us at all. So it's a good one to bear in mind. So what I did was I took a name and I wrote out what I was going to say to that person. And when I'd done that with 5 people, those 5 conversations did my whole list. Because people are more alike than they're different. So what I did was I wrote the words on the back, and that's how I got started with my phone calls. So all you're going to do is write down the details. Now, if it's a friend, I don't fill in all the name and address, etc. Well, I do put the name on, obviously, and the phone number. But you're just going to think about them, because we know what Forever has to offer. If you're not yet sure what Forever has to offer, then, watch the BP. You need to watch the business presentation a number of times so that you can think about, why could this person be interested? What could be in it for them? So the first thing to do is put their details down. Married, single, children, whereabouts they are, what their current job is if they work. So you're really just painting a picture. And I think the best way to do this is to imagine you're describing this person to someone. You might be describing them to your sponsor, in fact, if they're helping you get started. And then we're going to think about the hot button. The hot button is why they might be interested. So with some people, you'll know. It could be that work colleague who you work alongside, who moans like mad about their job. It could be a fellow mum who's saying she doesn't want to go back to work after maternity. With some people, we've already had those conversations. But with others, maybe we haven't got any idea. You can always, I find, lead with extra money. There aren't many people who don't want some extra money. But as I say, with some you'll know, some you don't. And for that reason, we click the personality boxes. So what sort of person are they? It's a myth that we're looking for everyone. This business is not for everyone. No business can be. So what we're looking for are people with the attributes that we feel will help them be successful. So you've got here open-minded, dissatisfied, caring, outgoing, people person, etc. So you simply tick the boxes that you feel apply to that person. And that's important, because when we come to what we're going to say to them, those are the boxes that we're going to refer to. Under the notes, I write down anything else that's relevant that I might want to remember, names of children, dogs, etc. And I also write down every conversation, what is said, where they go from there. So it's a complete record. Again, this is important because, if it's a no and you go back 12 months on, 18 months on, if you're talking to enough people, you'll have forgotten what the heck happened in that first conversation. So really important that you have a record and you know how far around the cycle that they got. In this day and age, we can text people. And I can honestly say to you, 26 years ago, if I'd had a mobile phone, I would have texted everybody on my list, because then I wouldn't have had to talk to them. And again, what I've learned since mobile phones came out and texting became a thing is you'll get a very poor response by trying to share your enthusiasm for the business over a text. Reason for that is they can't hear your voice. There's no connection. Lots and lots of people get hundreds of texts a day. They might look at your text and think, oh, I must answer that, and then another 10 texts come through and they've forgotten about you, and you're sat at home going, oh, I wonder what she thinks of me, I wonder if she's offended, and I wonder if she's interested, and you've got no idea. And you'll end up going through your list saying, oh, I've contacted 400 people and nobody's interested. Not true. You've sent 400 texts and maybe only a fraction of those have been read. So if we are going to text, and it's true, we can't. Well, I ring my daughter and she doesn't answer, and then she texts and says, "Did you want me?" And I've done that with the prospect as well. I convinced this young girl that she should pick up the phone, and when she picked up the phone, they thought she'd had an accident because she'd never phoned them before in her life. So we need to use the contact in the method that we normally contact people. But when we're going to text, we're going to text to say, let's have a chat. So if you normally text somebody, then send a text or send a voice, even better, send a voice note, because they can hear your voice. And all you're going to say is, can we get together and have a chat? I've got something I want to share with you. So you can take a screenshot of that. There's a couple of messages on there that might give you an idea of what to say. But with anything that, at any training, if you see any words at all, you must make sure that you don't copy and paste, because it needs to sound like you. I always remember Caroline. She was my second supervisor, and a young girl, and I used to say about the business, that I'd seen the business, was really excited, and I could see how I could earn a substantial secondary income without compromising my current career. And that was an example that I gave her, and she looked at me like I'd gone out, and she said, well, I don't talk like that. I said, exactly, so you need to say how you would. So she put in her message, hi, I found a way we can earn lots of dosh and have a great time and go on holiday together. So that was it. So make it sound like you, and use texting or WhatsApp messaging or however messaging that you usually contact people, but always to try and get them on the phone. So what are we going to say to people? Well, the important thing is not to prejudge. We could probably do an hour's training on all the examples we have of people who wished they'd spoken to somebody when they saw them with somebody else at a success day or a business presentation. We've even had family members who didn't know that they were both doing forever, and they met at an event. So we've got lots and lots of examples of those. So please, please, please do not prejudge. Again, you have got some examples in your First Steps to Manager, but a really great way of, a simple way, I believe, is to make a connection is on page 28, and which is a copy of the slide that you see there. And the reason that I think this is great is that it gives you the format of a call. The most important part of those 5 steps are points 3 and 4. And the reason for that is, point 3 is, we're telling them why they'd be good and what there is in it for them. Because when we send them the information or we send them an invite to the business presentation, we want them to actually look at it, or we want them to turn up. And the only thing that is going to get them to turn up is by paying them a compliment or sharing how you feel about them, why you think they'd be great, or you'd like to work with them. Obviously, be sincere, and what you feel could be in it for them, that we have a solution to what we've discussed on the phone. We've a solution to what they are looking for. So, section 1 obviously is chit chat. How are you doing? Or are you free for a chat? You might have sent the text first. Number 2, you just pick a sentence that you feel would be right for you. So I've just started doing some work with an amazing company in the health and wellness sector. I just wanted to share with you. I thought of you because, so you're going to go to that section on your profile where you have ticked their characteristics. Very important part of number 3 is to say that they can say no. People don't like to say no to you. I know sometimes we don't feel that, but people literally don't like to say no, particularly if they're a friend. So it's really important that we say, look, I don't know if it's for you, only you can decide that, or words to that effect. I'm not sure if it's for you, but I know it can help you get out of that job that I know you're not enjoying. I don't know if it's for you, but I know it could certainly give you the income you need so you don't need to go back to work after maternity. I don't know if it's for you, but I know it would give you the extra cash to have a really fun time now that you've retired. So that's why the profile is so important, because it's feeding into the messages that you're going to say. So section 4, all I want to do at this stage is share some info. If you stick to the 1 to 5, you will find that very few people will say no, because they don't know, they haven't got anything to say to make a decision on. All you've done is given them an invitation. And that's the important thing, to make it an invitation, not a presentation. So you want to let the business presentation be the tool that does the work. So all I want to do at this stage is share some information. You'll know if there's something there for you or not. Now you'll have that tone if you let go of the fact that everybody you speak to, you want to recruit. You're going to get more no's than yes. That's the business. It is a numbers business. We've got to get through the no's to find the yeses. And when I got my head in the right place to say, I expect everybody to say yes, but I no longer get the kitchen knife out and slit my wrists when they say no. Because what I've realised is the quicker I get a no, then the nearer I am to a yes. Having been in the business this long, I know my stats, but I can say that for anybody who is starting out, be that starting in forever or just deciding that however long you've been in forever, now you're going to start building a business. I was there too, it took me a while. Then your stats will be, with people your stats will be about 1 in 13, 1 in 15, if you are following the system. So, if you get, you've got to get 14. If we take 15 as a number, which was the number I took when I got serious, I knew I had to get 14 no's to get a yes. So I just went as quick as I could to get through the no's to get to that 1 yes. So you've got to let go of the outcome. Do the activity and focus on the results. So we're going to make that call. It doesn't matter if it's a yes, it doesn't matter if it's a no. We just want to put it on your activity tracker so that you can that you've done that activity. So, will we get any questions? Unlikely at this stage. The only question you may get at this stage is, what is it? And my answer is always the same. For what is it, I say the company's called Forever. Have you heard of us? And if they say no, I'll say I'm not surprised. You won't believe it. They've been trading 46 years this year, but we're a bit of a well-kept secret. If they say yes, well, it used to be that my heart would sink. I'd think, but now I say, how do you know us? Have you tried our amazing products? Have you seen the business model? Now, I have found that some people, quite a lot of people, when they say, what is it? And you say, company's called Forever, have you heard of us? They say yes, because they think that's the right answer. But when you ask the question, what have you heard? What have you seen? It's often that they've no idea who Forever is. They just thought they should say yes. and they'll say, oh, I think I can remember, or something like that. So don't be afraid of the questions. My husband taught me, he was in sales, that questions are a signpost to a sale. If they're asking questions, they're not saying no. If they're asking questions, then they're interested to know more. So what is it? I say, company's called Forever. Have you heard of us? If it's a yes, what have you heard? More often than not, it will be the product that they've seen, or the product that they've used, or it's usually product driven. And so I always say, have you seen the business model? Because if somebody's seen the product, what they assume is that we're like Avon, or we're like XYZ company. So really important to not panic, but to ask those questions. The other questions that you see there, is it pyramid selling? That could be, is it pyramid selling? Is it like XYZ company? Is it one of those things? Is it whatever? My response is, that's interesting. What makes you ask that? If you ask the question, you can't answer their question until you know why they're asking. Now, the very first person that I rang in Jane's kitchen after a lot of pressure, yeah, she poured me a glass of wine in the end and said, for God's sake. And a glass of wine. The very first person, she said to me, I did my bit, and she said, oh, is it like Amway? Well, I had no idea what Amway was. It's another network marketing company, one of the first in the world. And I said, oh, I assumed a negative. So I went, oh, no, it's nothing like that. She went, oh, it's such a shame, because I'm really looking for something like that in the UK. And I went, oh, well, I think it might be a bit similar. So I should have asked the question. I kept saying to Alan, my husband, because he was in sales, I said, don't talk about sales. You know, people don't like to be in sales. So when he handed his notice in, he was saying goodbye to one of his clients, a laundry designer, and she came running out afterwards from the design room and said, oh, so excited to hear about your new career, and what will you be doing? Is it selling? And he said, oh, no, nothing like that. And she said, oh, that's such a shame, because I'm looking to move into sales. So you just don't know. Some people will say, I really want sales, I can sell sand to the Arabs. Somebody else will say, oh, no, that's not what I want. So why are you asking the question? I've even had that response from pyramid selling, because a lot of people don't know what pyramid selling is. Please don't try and describe to someone what pyramid selling is. If they've decided we're pyramid selling, you're not going to win that one. But I do say, why do you ask the question? This guy said to me, well, because I was involved in a pyramid and made a shed load of money, and I'd really like another one. And I said, well, can you tell me a bit more about that? It turns out he was in a direct marketing company. He wasn't in a pyramid at all. So, you know, don't jump to conclusions, just breathe and go from there. Things like, I haven't got time. Oh, I don't think it's for me. I don't think I have the time. Anything else that doesn't fit. Feel, felt, found. You'll find the words in your first steps to manager. The only way this will become natural for you is to practice. So you can practice feel, felt, found on absolutely everything in life, I have found. So if somebody says, I haven't got time, you could say, what makes you think you need a lot of time? Or haven't got time. I know how you feel. That's how I felt. But I found. And so that's how feel, felt, found comes in. So I really don't think I've got enough time. What makes you think you need a lot of time? Oh, well, I work full time and I've got the family. I'll say, I know how you feel, because that's exactly how I felt. But when I watched the presentation and learnt more about how the business worked, I realised this is something I could do in pockets of time, here and there. Got to be worth a look. What else do we have there? Having feel, felt, found. I don't think I know anybody. I haven't got a big enough network. Don't think I know enough people. I know how you feel. That's how I felt. But when I understood how the business worked, I realised that this wasn't about knowing lots and lots of people. This was about working with a handful of key people to help them achieve their goals. But you have to practice it. If you have children, you've got an ideal practice mode. You know, my grandchildren will say to me, I don't want to go to bed. I go, I know just how you feel. That's how I felt. But I found when I didn't go to bed by 7 o'clock, I couldn't get up for school the following morning. So you can really, it is a really simple but unique tool to an effective tool, but you've got to practice it. And that's the same with all of the things that we do. You know, in network marketing, network marketing is the only place where we do to learn. You know, if you were a doctor, a dentist, a vet, you'd have years and years and years of education and theory before they let you near a human or an animal. But in network marketing, the only way you learn is to go out there and make those calls. Go out there and talk to people about the products and the opportunity. Okay, so we've taken a name off the list. We've contacted somebody. We've shown them the we've contacted them. And then what we're going to do is put them on our activity tracker. So who goes on the activity tracker? Everybody you have had a conversation about the business. Now, it can be a message if the message is a conversation. If you've got a two-way messaging going and you've managed to share details of the business and invite them to take a look, then that person would go on your activity tracker. If you've sent 10 texts, they don't go on your tracker. If you sent 10 messages, they don't go on your tracker. If you've sent 20 voice notes, they don't go on your tracker. The only people that go on your tracker are people you have invited to take a look at the business. That makes sense? So some people are going to go on that tracker and you're going to cross them off. I know it's painful. You're going to cross them off the minute they go on. Well, about 2 minutes after you've finished talking to them. Because you'll have a conversation, somebody's going to say to you, thanks, but no thanks. And so their name's gone on the tracker, you've put when you called them, and you're going to cross them off. Why? Because they're no longer in that cycle, are they? They're no longer looking at the business. Other people will go on because you've had a chat. They've said, yeah, they'd like to have a look at the business presentation. And so you put them on the tracker, put the date of the next presentation, and then it'll be a yes or a no. If it's yes, you get your highlighter out and it's fantastic and you forget all that trauma that you've been through worrying about everything because now you've got a new team member. The example in the book, you just highlight the name. I don't. I go right the way across the page, sometimes twice. But for others, it'll be a no. And so the no, they get crossed off. Now, if you go back to them in 6 months and now they want to look again, they go back on the tracker. What you don't do is put 5 people on your tracker you've invited to look at the business, and if they're still there in 3 months, I promise you they're not actively looking at the business. So you need to put them on and cross them off. You know, often we focus, you know, those 2 people that I knew that were going to join the business and make me a senior manager. Those 2 people were on my tracker for 5 months. They said no, really, in the first conversation, but I wasn't prepared to give in. I was laser focused because these were my 2 people that I'd decided. So you've really got to look at your activity tracker and say, There's no point lying to yourself. You've got to look at your activity tracker and say, okay, are these people all actively looking at the business? There are 13 names on an activity tracker. And so what I found is, if you connect with 13 people, you get 13 people on your activity tracker, so you've made 13 invitations, then on average, one person will join your business. Now, sadly, it doesn't work page by page. So it could be that you talk to 13, you get 13 on your tracker and nobody actually joins. It doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. I find 7 people who say no. That's usually when everybody loses their confidence and says, oh, it must be me. 7 feels like 700, doesn't it, when we first start particularly? So it's just an average. When I first started in the business, one of the first people that I recruited, we had a weekly BP then, of course, and the first 3 people that she spoke to joined. And she'd walk into the BP, you know, and everybody else had a normal business, but she was like, I don't see what the problem is really. You know, you just talk to them and say, do you want to look? And then they look and then they join. You know, just great. It's just great. Yeah, she wasn't that popular. Well, with the rest of the team, obviously. And then I got a call to say, oh, I need a meeting. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I thought I was doing the same thing, but I'm definitely doing something wrong because I've now had 54 no's. Well, of course you had, because you had to pay for the 3 yeses. So that's how averages work. Now, as I said earlier, I didn't actually do everything right when I started. I had a meeting with my upline, and I was asked if I'd done everything. I said, obviously, you said this business is work, and it isn't working because it's not where I want to be, so it's your fault. And my upline said, well, have you done everything that I asked? I said, of course I've done everything you asked. She said, well, show me your written down goals. So, well, I haven't done that bit because I know what my goals are. She said, so, haven't done everything I asked then. So show me your dream book. I said, well, I haven't done that bit either because I don't think I need to put pictures in a book. She said, so that's the second thing you haven't done. And show me your tracker, how many people you're talking to. Anyway, we had a slightly longer conversation than we've got time for. And I went away from that meeting. It was the 1st of January. I was a manager on 34 case credits, so not great. And I determined that I would prove her wrong and I would talk to 15 people every week. And I would just focus on the activity, I'd let go of the result, and I would show her that what she was teaching me was wrong because it wasn't working. So I went home and I spoke to 34 people from the year before that I'd already approached in the 18 months before. I've been in the business about, 18 months. And then I spoke to 15, so 3 a day for 5 days. And I made a commitment to my husband in writing that we wouldn't eat on Friday night until I'd done my 15. But of course, I didn't actually like talking to people, so I tended to leave it till Thursday. It was just very stressful. But I did do, through January, I did do my 15 every single week. And at the end, so that was 34 plus 60, that's 94. So how many pages of trackers is that? Flipping heck. It's a lot. And guess how many joined at the end of January? None. So I had a meeting with my upline, and I said, right, I've done everything you said, and it's not worked, and nobody's joined, and I told you, and da 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 da. And she said, well, I have to keep going then. And the truth is, I kept going because I had no plan B. I mean, if we take, what's 94 divided by 13? Anybody good at maths? It's got to be about 9 pages. Okay. Who's still in the business after 9 pages? Well done, Dwayna, well done. Okay. Well, I was wavering, but I have to say I hadn't got a plan B. I was not going back to work. I was never, ever, ever going back to work. So, February 15. Alan did ask that we sit down and discuss the way I was building my business, because he said he just couldn't bear to eat at 10 o'clock on a Friday night every week. And he couldn't take the stress of Thursdays and Fridays. So I agreed that I would do 5 a day, Monday to Wednesday. And that, do you know what? That was just brilliant, because by Thursday, once I got in the flow, I was now doing 17 a week, 20 a week, because, well, I had 2 days where I didn't need to do any prospecting. So I did it, just naturally. And so at least 15 a week through February, that's another 60. Guess how many joined? 1. Yeah, I'm not that bad. 1. But they just wanted to use the products for themselves and their family. I said, yes, that's fine. So I had a meeting with my upline. This doesn't work, this is wrong, I can't do it, all of that. And she said, keep going. And I didn't have a plan B, so I kept going. On the 5th of March, we had a business presentation in Leicester, where I lived at the time. I sponsored 5 people. On the 10th of March, we had a business presentation here. I sponsored 5 people. By the 13th of March, by the end of March, I'd sponsored 13 people. I was sponsor of the month, and my business took off. Within 18 months, I was earning over £5,000 a month. I'd had my first chairman's bonus, my level 3 car plan. Who's still in the business by month 3 with at least 25 trackers with nobody joining? You know, this is a proven business building system. And you don't have to get it all right, like I didn't get it all right. But you've got to have faith in the process. And everything in that First Steps to Manager is what we're all doing. So when I wondered what my upline Sapphire manager was doing, she was doing and is doing exactly what we do today, except Jane's now a diamond. You can talk to anybody. Catherine Byrie, double diamond. It's a proven system, but you've got to focus on the activity, let go of the results, and know that the people are coming. If you've got no's, you're nearer to a yes. So focus on the no's. Focus on the activity, let go of the results, but get as many no's as possible. Now, people often say, I don't know what to say. I don't know. Everything's in your First Steps to Manager. And although you can't speak with experience when you're new, what you can speak with is with conviction and enthusiasm, because you know what you're talking about. So don't doubt yourself. So how do we follow up the BP? Well, they've been to a BP. I always, when I invite someone to a business presentation, if I'm not doing it personally, I always make the follow-up appointment before the business presentation. So when I invite someone, they say, yes, I'd like to go, or yes, I'd like to watch. I'll say, great, when can we connect after that? And I put the time in the diary so we know we have got that appointment. Expect a yes. The reason I put that on the slide is I have sat in business presentations where some of the team haven't been having maybe the best results, and their body language is almost daring daring their guest to say yes. It's just like, well, they're not, I don't know why. They may as well have a sign flashing out of their head saying, I don't know why we're here, because they're not going to join, because nobody ever does. And I've been there myself. I had my head in that place before. So you've really got to make sure that you're always expecting that yes, but you're not going to kill yourself if it's a no, because the no, of course, is a not now. So I always start with exciting, isn't it? Did you watch? Did you enjoy the business presentation? Exciting, wasn't it? Or if I'm sat there, exciting, isn't it? Which bit did you like the best? And they will, even if they're not interested to join the business, they will always tell you the bit they like the best. And quite often it might be about a product, so that allows you a much easier route to follow up with the product if it's a no. Do you have any questions? Find out what they need answering. If they say, oh, no, I'm not sure, and I say, would you like me to explain the next steps? And then I simply, if they say yes, I share the support that's available. So by that, I talk about, we have the foreverliving.com. If I'm online, I'll share my screen, or I'll show them on my phone if I'm with them. So we have a company website. I show them the online shop. I explain any team support that's available. I'll show them everything that we have in Forever that is going to help them build a business. So they know it's not just me, but they're going to have much wider support from the company and the team. I show them how they'd register, and then I explain what the next steps would be after registering. So how long the box would take, etc., etc. So anything else that fits into that. And then, of course, if they've got questions, I'll invite them to the spotlight. If they say, I will always ask the question, are you ready to get the paperwork out of the way? I know there's no paperwork now. I know it's all online, but I still say you're ready to get the paperwork out of the way, and they know what I mean. You've got to ask the question. Again, I've seen it where, well, I've done it myself, where I'd sit there hoping they'd say, I'd like to join. They don't. You've got to ask them. Because often, and I've had experience of this, they say, well, I didn't know if I was allowed to. So don't wait for someone to say, please, can I buy your product? Please, can I join you? I think I've only had one person say, please, can I join you in 26 years? You've got to ask the question. So are you ready to get the paperwork out of the way? It just takes us 5 minutes. We can do it online now. We get them registered, and then the next step again would be to that spotlight in Forever. Make sense? Not everybody that you recruit is going to be a key person. And I remember sitting with Catherine Byrie, Double Diamond Manager. We were chatting about this, and I was probably whinging. I was very good at whinging in the early days. She got a napkin out and drew this, and it stayed with me ever since, because the key, and any of you that were actually at the last training, Diana Page, her figures will back this up as well, that you may need to get to talk to 100 people, but when you do, you will get your 5 key people. So again, you recruit 2 people, don't do what I did and think, oh, I've got 2 now, I can, relax. Not do anything else for a while, because those 2 people may not go on to be key people, because not everybody wants to be. People join for their own reasons, and unless somebody decides they want to be a manager, then you will never ever make them a manager. So getting to those big figures, getting to the top of the marketing plan, achieving everything that there is on the marketing plan, you can do by focusing on connecting, asking 100 people to join you. When you do that, you will recruit 5 key people. And then you teach them to do exactly the same. If they focus on 100 people, they will get 5 key people. 30 people, of course, takes you to that manager position. But it's that stability. It's those 5 legs, better than 4 legs of a chair. You've got 5 strong legs that will open up the whole of the marketing plan, the incentives, CB, chairman's bonus, everything will be available to you. But as Jane will so often say, you cannot stroll to a goal. Yeah. Yeah, if you talk to 100 people, you will get 5 people who join you and become manager on the stats. So you could get 95. You won't get 95 no's. Unlikely. You're more likely to get some customers from that 100. You'll get some people who just want a couple of £100. You get some people who maybe want £500. But on average, 100, you will get 5 key people who want to build and manage a business. So that would be you with 5 managers. If you do that 3 levels deep, you're looking at just over 8,000 a month. So that's why it's important to have that bigger picture, though. You know, sometimes we only see what's right in front of us, and it's having that bigger picture and then coming back to what do I need to do today? And what I need to do today is build that 20 to 30 regular customer base, and I need to find my 5 key people. So if you want the bigger incomes, then I would suggest that you focus on talking to 100 people as fast as you possibly can. And remember, because that's going to be about 8 of those activity trackers, that those 5 might not come till that page. But along the way, you'll get customers. Along the way, you'll get referrals. Along the way, you will get really good at talking to people about the opportunity, because you only get good by doing. And that really is the key.
We're going to break down now and put together a really simple, duplicatable plan to supervisor. Now, we're going to show you a 90-day plan, but I don't want any of you to think you need to take 90 days to get there. Remember, I did it in 5 weeks. And if I can do it, I was just a farmer. I remember Chris Giles was saying, well, how come you're successful? You're just a farmer. She was really quite troublesome in the early days. I said, yeah, but I'm not any old farmer. I'm a bloody good farmer. So we're going to break down now. This is where we really want you to start paying attention, because building a business requires planning. And frankly, I don't want to build a business that happens by accident. I want to build a business that happens by design. And one of the things I'm big on, and anyone that works with me will know this, is structure. Because if you build stability and structure into your business, then you're building firm foundations. And foundations bring strength into your team and into your income. You don't want a flimsy business, you want business built on real strong foundations. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the basics of putting together your 90-day plan. However, even though I show it you as a 90-day plan, I want all of you to look at it. Oh, I don't want to confuse you. Maybe I'll bring this in at the end. Well, look at it as a 90-day plan, but I don't want you to take 90 days to get there. Did you all get that? Yeah? Okay, cool. So, perfect planning promotes plenty of profit. The 5 P's. Perfect planning promotes plenty of profit. And one of the things that I like to do is I like to plan at the end of the month, so a couple of days before the end of any month. I like to plan what's going to happen the next month. And then when I've planned what I want to achieve in that month, I break it back into weekly chunks and then daily activity. So I know what I've got to do every single day in order to reach the goal I've set for that month. That's in retailing, recruitment, development, retention. Do you see where I'm coming from? Because I don't want to get to the end of the month and go, oh my goodness, I should have done X, Y, Z, and I'm trying to bring it all together in 24 hours. That is a stressful way to build business. But more importantly, as you begin to recruit, it's not a good example to set to others. So in order to help you get to supervisor, let's have a look at the plan that we put in place in the first 90 days. Now, why 90 days? Well, very often when you recruit, it's not perfect that you recruit on the first of the month. Sometimes it could be at the end of the first week, the end of the second week. But truly, I believe that in month 1, if someone has not joined with the last couple of days, that they can quite easily do what we call a 5-case credit month. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to use and retail the product. And we're also going to put some activity in place. So we're going to break, I'm going to go back to there. We're going to look at what you do with a brand new FBO when you first get them recruited. Whether you do it on Zoom, whether you do it face-to-face, whether you do it in a group, it doesn't matter. You know, we're very hybrid in our approach in the way that we work nowadays. You know, we used to do everything in this kind of format, but COVID and technology has allowed us to reach out to people quickly, timely, without having to wait, quick Zoom call, and then action. So we plan, we take action, and then we review. So plan, do, review. Plan, do, review. Because there's an element of accountability for two things. First of all, are you on track and working? And secondly, as a coach, if I've got a plan, do, review in place, it means when I'm reviewing against a plan. And if I'm reviewing against a plan, I can hold people accountable. Does that make sense? But if we're reviewing where there's no plan in place, what are we even going to talk about? So what I like to think about in the first month is that we're going to be doing some retail. And we're looking at retailing 3-case credits. Now, can I just ask all of you to just think outside the box? So many people, when they first recruit, look at themselves in the mirror and say, but I'm not a leader yet. How many of you have done that? Be honest. I'm not a leader, so how can I lead and plan? I wasn't a leader when I first joined Forever, but let me give you a word of advice. If you recruited somebody 24 hours after you joined, you've got 24 hours more experience than they've got. And so I want to clear up this myth of, I can't be good, I can't be effective, I'm not a leader because I haven't got to manager or I haven't got to... You're a leader the minute you recruit, so you need to own it. And I also need to tell you that when you recruit someone, they're looking to you for guidance. You have a responsibility to guide. And here's the thing, they don't know what you don't know. So they're not judging you. They just want your guidance. So please, as a brand new FBO entrepreneur or someone who's lying in the sand and requalifying, can I please just say, step into your own brilliance, because every one of you is capable. So we're going to plan this 3-case credits. Now, I like to plan launches quickly because launches for me is the quickest way to generate volume. Now, that launch could be if you're working in your community, which I always think is great when you first start because you can have maximum contact, input, connectivity, etc. Then booking a launch is really good. And I think that launch, whether you're male or female, get stuck in. You know, when I recruited my son into Forever and I said to him, right, you need to go and do your first launch. I'll tell you a funny story, actually. He came to me when he was about 19 and said, Mum, can I join Forever? And I said, no, you can't. You're not ready. And he wasn't ready. I knew he wasn't ready. And then when he was 21, he said, Mum, can I start now? I said, yes, you can start now. I said, but you need to buy a box. He said, what, you're not going to give me one? I went, no. So he bought his box and I said, right, we'll plan a meeting. Got the meeting in the diary. He came for his meeting, totally unprepared. So I sat him down. He said, so what do I call you? I said, Mrs. Leach, you'll be fine. Oh dear. But I remember him doing his first launch. I was away in Malaysia on a rally. He didn't obviously know the time difference. And he planned a launch in Cardiff. And he was, off to do it. And he rang me up in the middle of the night. And you panic when your kids ring you in the middle of the night. And he said, Mum, I'm going to do a launch. I said, and? He said, well, what do I do? He said, you're all aloe vera ladies. What do I say? I said, well, you go in and say, hi, I'm not the aloe lady, I'm the aloe guy. And I'm here to have a great time with you all. Do you know he sold nearly £300 in about an hour? So if any of you guys think, oh, no, can't go and do a launch, bit beneath me, get over it. Especially if you're young and you're a bit of a dude. The girls will love it. And he raided we had makeup at the time. He raided my makeup, took it all there, hadn't got a clue how to explain it, passed it round, they all played with it, and he sold a fortune. So when you're doing your launches, don't have a preconceived idea that they're only for women, they're only for this, they're only for that, they're for everybody. Why do I do a launch? I do a launch because when I'm with a brand new FBO, this is what I want to achieve quickly. I want them to watch me in action. So I am going to do the launch, they watch. I want them to focus on 2 products that they're going to talk about during the launch. So they are stepping out of their comfort zone. I want them to get some retail sales. But what I want to do is I want to talk to everybody at the launch about the opportunity. So at the end of the launch, we can turn around and say, well, you retail £200, but we got 3 people keen on the business. That's the power of a launch. So never underestimate just what you can get from the return of an hour's work around someone's kitchen table, socialising, having fun, sharing products that you love. Now, we can do them online and we can do them on WhatsApp. WhatsApp now, I think you can have, did I read the other day, you can have up to 32 people on a WhatsApp video call. But I do WhatsApp launches to 3 or 4 or 5 people at a time, and I only pick maybe 4 or 5 products and focus on them for about 15, 20 minutes. So quick and easy for a brand new FBO to do. And I do Zoom launches as well. You have to do a little bit more preparation at the front end and the back end, but you can reach out to people all around the UK and around the world. So really easy to create quick volume where everybody wins. The new FBO wins on many fronts. You also win because you're creating that, creating the case credits. They're putting money in the pocket. Everybody's happy. So I want you to think about the launches you're going to put in your diary in the first month that you are in the business. And I would suggest 1 a week. 4 launches. What's the average case credits from a launch? Lucy, what would you say, average case credits from a launch? 1? Tina? Yeah? Half and 1 case credit. Roger? Half to 1. Nicola? About the same, but half to 1, 1.5 to. So imagine if you did 4 launches, there's 4 case credits done in what? 4 hours work? And what did we say? I like that. Zooming along. Yes, it's 32 on a WhatsApp call. See, I knew that anyway. I knew it. So you can use your time to plan in Clean 9s. So you're working with your sponsor. Clean 9s are really good. They're high value, high case credits, high profitability. So why not plan in that you want to retail 1 C9 a week for your first month? Why not plan in those fantastic events where you go and meet a friend for a coffee? Did I say earlier? Did I say where you take your box and see a friend? And yeah, just go and have half a dozen coffees. I remember going to see a dentist friend of mine one summer, literally sitting in her garden. She eventually said, "What's in the box?" And she spent over £200 with me. So get creative, but don't get creative and just keep it in here. Plan it, put it in your diary, agree it with your sponsor so they can be there to help you. They can do the activity and then review it to see whether you made profit, whether you recruited, and what were the case credits. Because then you count those case credits towards the goal, which is going to be 5 case credits for the month. Because on top of your retail activity, we're looking to recruit somebody. In your first month, you are looking to recruit your first team member. And as far as I'm concerned, this is not open to discussion. This is what I expect. We're looking to recruit somebody. So, you've heard the who do you know list explained. So when I'm working with a brand spanking new FBO, the minute they purchase their box, I say in preparation for our planning meeting, can you give some thought to what you want to achieve this year, short-term goal, and can you please write down 30 people that you want to reach out to and share the business with my help? I need you to come to the planning meeting with that already in a workbook. And they go, okay. See, if you don't tell people what to do, they won't do it. And a lot of people recruit and think just because someone's joined with a box, they're going to miraculously know what to do. They don't. You have to tell them. You have to lay out what the expectations are. So we're going to get into that list. When we get into that list, we're going to start just profiling. And for me, profiling is really easy. I've got a notebook. I have a page. When I'm working with somebody, they have a chunk of that notebook. And every time I have a meeting with them, we're writing down the names of the people they want to speak to. And together we make a plan. And what I do is I plug into the business presentations that Forever do, but I'm not waiting 1 week to another. I'm not waiting. I literally, on Friday, did 3 business presentations in a row. Why? Because I had 3 people that all had people keen to look at the business. You see, you're in the driving seat. You either put it in first gear and cruise along, chugging, or you get straight into 5th gear as quickly as possible and go quick. Success loves speed. It does not like stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. Success likes speed. You could get some nice little cards made. There's lots of different examples of cards that the leaders use. But truly, really, everybody should have some kind of card that they carry with them. Because being able to share a card where you can give it to somebody and then take their number, you've got a reason to follow up. I'm dead cheeky with my contacting. I mean, those of you that have been around me or have worked with me, you'll know I'll speak to anybody. Anybody. Hence, Chris wasn't quick enough the other day. I went into Monmouth and had to pick up some paint pots on a Sunday because the decorator was in on the Monday. So this was 2 weeks ago. And I went into Monmouth in my scruffs, picked up the paint pots, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go and have a coffee. And it's not easy going to have a coffee sometimes with the person that should be with you and isn't. So I went into the coffee shop that I don't normally go into, sat in the corner. And as I sat in the corner, I looked around, because I always do, it's habit. And there opposite me were 2 beautiful black smiley faces. So my ear, this right ear, has the ability to go ching. I tuned in on the conversation. I could hear them talking about going over the border from South Africa into Zim at Baitbridge. And they were talking, and I said, right, come on, James, get your act together. You may be in your scruff, let's go talk to them. So I went up to them, I said, hey, ladies, I didn't want to interrupt you. You both look lovely. I guess you just come from church. And they went, yes, we have. I said, and I guess you're from Zimbabwe. And they went, yes, we are. And I said, well, today's your lucky day. And they went, what? I said, because you met me. And they laughed. And I said, all joking apart, I said, I've just got back from Zim. I was there in November, doing a lot of good business out there. I'm looking for people who might want to have a second income stream here and scale over to Africa. Would you be open? What did I say to you earlier? Would you be interested? Would you be open? They both said yes, swap numbers, got in touch. One of them's joined, bought her box, all ready to have a planning meeting next week, blah-de-blah-de-blah. And her husband saw Chris's card in another shop and gave Chris... I thought it was really funny. Anyway, the long and the short of it is, sorry, you need to be quicker. But you need your cards and your flyers. Or you need to open your WhatsApp, open the QR code, get in touch that way quickly and take a photo of yourself and send it to them, because then they won't forget you. So you need to be on the ball with doing this kind of activity. You need to be reaching out on Facebook. You need to be looking at where you can find people to talk to say, hey, I've got something. I'm massively excited. Want to run it by you. Might be something in it for you, might not, but come and take a look. It's as simple as that. And it's a yes or a no, and it's move on. So, what do we do in month 2? So we got 5 case credits in the bag in month 1. You've learned how to retail. You're feeling more comfortable. Now we need to go for what I call the base month and the qualifying month. So month 2 is all about replication, duplication, doing what you did in month 1, but helping somebody else do it. It's that simple, guys. And actually, if you don't do this, you're going to walk past business because you're so busy looking for brand new people all the time that you forget you've got good teams in place that bring 100, 200, 300 names to the table. And you work with them through their names to get them duplicating, because that's your business. So we're going to use and retail the product in exactly the same way that we did before. Get your launches booked in. Look at how you're going to get some launches booked in from customers that are already happy and would maybe have 2 or 3 friends round. And you're going to recruit a new team member. So you're going to do exactly what you did last month. You're going to do 5 case credits. You're going to use and retail 3, and you're going to recruit a new team member. Can you just tell me, does that sound simple? It's because it is. It's that simple, but only if you plan it. Got to plan it. It's a business. If you don't plan it, it won't happen by itself. And what we're going to do is we're going to work with Sue, who we recruited last month, to get her to do exactly what you've just done. Now, if you've already done 5 case credits, do you think you can teach it with the help of your mentor? It's so simple. Show her how to use and to retail 3 case credits and how to find 1 person. And we're beginning to duplicate, because what happens now, you're doing 5 case credits again. She's doing 5 case credits. You've now got 10 case credits. It's not bad, is it? Planning. We've planned all of that. It hasn't happened by accident. So in month 3, which is going to be our qualifying month, guess what we're going to do? We're going to do exactly the same as we did before. We're going to use and retail 3. We're going to recruit somebody. We're going to work with Bill, who we sponsored last month, and help him do 5. And we're going to help Sue do her 5, plus with her new person 5. So in total, we've got 20 case credits. Now, if you have 20 in that month and 10 the month before, what happens? You've gone supervisor. It's that simple. Will it be that neat? No. It never is that neat, but you've got to have a starting point in which to say, I am planning. It's no different to you saying, I need to get from A to B, I need to open up a map. Where's the lovely lady from Zambia? Stand up. We've got to give this lady a huge round of applause. She got on a train at 5 o'clock this morning, and it took her 5 hours to get here to be at this event. Do you think that she just got on any random train to see where it would take her? No. She planned it. It was a little bit longer than she thought it was going to take, but nevertheless, you're here. And I've just learned she's in my team in Zambia. So even better. So here we go. It's all about planning. It will never be neat. It will never be perfect. It will never be tidy. But if you don't plan, it won't happen. Now, before we go on to the next part, let's have a look at some duplication. This is a perfect manager plan if you're looking to do manager over 3 to 4 months. And all this is the power of 5 case credits duplicated every month. 5, 10, 20, 35, 45, 50. So what we want each and every one of you to do is be excited to get to supervisor, because when you've got to supervisor, here's the key thing. To get to manager, you only need to help 5 supervisors. If you're going on the 120 rule, if you're going on the 150 rule, then you need to help 3 people get to supervisor. And over that 3 to 4 months, you'll be a manager. But it's all about planning supervisor, learning the skill sets, being open to doing some different things, putting it in the diary, making sure that you work hard for that event to come off, to actually happen, and then duplicating that through to new team members. It's that simple. Yeah. So what we're going to do now is Claire is going to come up in a minute. It's the beautiful, glamorous Claire. I know, but you still look glam. Doesn't matter what you wear, you look glam, don't you? She does. So, going to ask Claire to come up. She is a Sapphire manager, car plan, Eagle, chairman's bonus, one of the top ladies in the UK. I'll let her share her story, but it's a wonderful story. She's also half the woman she was. How much?
6 stone.
She's lost 6 stone, which is incredible. So she's going to share with you now what she wants you to do to get ready to plan your business. Please give a big round of applause to Claire.
Thank you, Jane. That's so lovely. Mwah.
Let's get a
Thank
photo.
you. Oh, nice photo.
She poses so well. I'm not a pretty
Oh,
girl.
no, she looks gorgeous, doesn't she? She looks fantastic. So, how's everyone doing? Okay, it's kind of the graveyard shift after lunch, isn't it? The food is setting in, you're starting to feel a bit sleepy, it's warm in here. So you need to pay attention because I've got a challenge for you at the end of my slot, and you need to have listened to Jane and myself. So make sure you're ready. Just to give you a little bit of history about me, I have been with the company for 15 years. Who remembers Big Claire? Yeah, straight up, yeah, I remember Big Claire. Yeah, so it was all through the weight management products, so they are fantastic, but I didn't build my business on those. So in the early days, I was working for West Mercia Police, and I was just really fed up of shift work. Anyone in here do shift work? It's a killer, isn't it? Honestly, it's a killer. So we were passing, ships passing in the night, my husband and I never saw each other. If I was at work and when I was at home, I'd be sleeping. It was just a nightmare. And I used a childminder. And whenever I picked the kids up from the childminder, she always looked really happy. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to become a childminder. It's the answer to my prayers. I can be at home all the time. It will be fun. Wow. Soon realised when I packed in the police, started my childminding business that cost me 10 grand to set up, why she was so happy, because she was sending all the kids home. Yes, so I was stuck in this situation, looking after other people's kids while they were going off following their dreams, and I was just on this massive wheel of debt. So we were paying for debt with credit, creating more debt. Anyone been in that situation? You just feel like you're sinking, don't you? Can't get out. So I was looking for a bar job. I was going to go and pull pints after wiping kids' backsides all day. So that was going to be fun. And it was actually a lady on the school run who saw me battling a triple buggy in the pouring rain who said, come and have a look at Forever. Now, I'm a policeman's daughter. He's South African, very sceptical family. I was really unconfident, but I saw at least £200 a month. Who joined for just that smaller amount? Yeah, I saw that because it meant I didn't have to get that bar job. So I got started and I listened to all of this amazing training. Obviously, it's updated as the years have gone on, but the core is still there. What we're teaching you now is what I was taught in the beginning. And within 10 weeks, I was earning an extra £1,000 a month, which I thought I'd won the lottery. I was all smug, cruising around Worcester in my battered old car. I had a Vauxhall Zafira, no disrespect to anyone driving one, slidey door, 7-seaters, clunked when I turned right, absolutely hated it. And I got myself, when I got Forever to drive, my first car was a little 2-door Audi. I did not want kids in the back of my car. Also, I've got 2 children, so they were literally crammed in the back. But I just wanted to wave goodbye to my old life. And like Chris, no plan B. I was not going to go back to the police, and I certainly wasn't going to look after anyone else's kids. So it was literally onwards and upwards. And I literally implemented everything that you're learning today. My business has completely changed our lives. I've hit chairman's bonus year after year. Not quite 1.5 million like Jane, but I got 159,000 as a chairman's bonus check. That was pretty amazing. I was just saying, not quite your 1.5 million, but I got 159,000. That was the deposit on my dream home. So I could never achieve that working in the police. I could never achieve that childminding. The only place that took me seriously, respected me, and allowed me to shine was Forever. And that's why I'm still here 15 years later. So that's a little back history to me. We want to help you all hit your goals. So some of you might be here because you just want that £200 like I did. That's absolutely fine. Some of you might want more. You literally treat it like a buffet table. You go for what you want. Okay, I am looking for an arrow. There we go. So Jane's just gone through planning your business to supervisor. So we want to look at how to get that base month, that 8 to 10 case credits. I was literally ignorance on fire. I was talking to everybody and anybody who would listen. I didn't care because I was actually building in desperation. So sometimes you can have fear drive you just as much as pretty goals of handbags and cars and holidays. It was actually losing our home that made me get out and get to work, because what would have happened? Literally, where would my life have been? So I literally just went to it. And then month 2, you do the remaining. So this is how we're going to do it with some great activity. So we've got lots of different types of recruiting activity that you can implement. There might be even stuff that's not even on here that you can start to look at putting into your business. But the key here, I think we've talked about it so much today, is your who do you know list. So the first person that joined my team, I hadn't seen for 15 years. She was an old school friend. She was a nurse. The reason I connected with her was because I put all my old school friends down on my who do you know list. And it sounds like I joined before the wheel was blinking invented, but there was no social media. Facebook was in its infancy. There was no TikTok, no Instagram, no WhatsApp. It was all literally pick up that phone that Chris said, plugged into the wall. And I got in contact with Lydia and she joined me. And through old school methods, because a lot of you know me as a bit of a social media person, old school methods got her to assistant manager. So who do you know list is so, so important. I've still got a who do you know list today. So if any of you ever tell me that you are going to run out of names, I will literally laugh in your face, because you get out there and you put new names on it. Our job description is to make friends wherever you go. So where can you stop off on the way home? Who can you meet at the service station? Who's going to pop to McDonald's on the way back? Who needs to fill up their car, get coffee? Pick up the kids from a friend's? Are they on your who do you know list? So start to think about all of those people in those different places where you can add to it. Events. Who's got some events booked in? Okay, I like that my ladies have got their events booked in. Well done, arm up. They're going to be like, everything I say, they're just going to put their arm up just in case. Events are fantastic. I have met people at events. I did a tabletop at a church toddler group fair, and it was weather like this. It was horrible. My gazebo blew over. My table, I had a trestle table, you know, like wallpaper tables. It broke. So they lent me their stage stairs in the middle of a flipping churchyard. And I had bottles and everything that were flying off constantly. It was an absolute nightmare, carnage. However, I've still got 2 gel drinkers from that event 15 years ago that still buy from me today. They'll never join. They're lovely. They're just quite happy with their beautiful gut health. They are customers for life. So where are you putting yourself in front of people? I've got Jo over there has just started making contact with a women's group. So she's going to go, and she's not going to ram forever in their faces. She's not going to, start prospecting them all. She's going to gently talk about how aloe really helps with gut health. She's going to befriend them. Sounds like I'm saying you're going to be grooming them, but you're going to befriend them. You're going to be getting them as friends. You're going to get them on your social media. You're going to get them on your who do you know list. And then you're going to go in for the kill. Once they're a customer, I want to show you the business behind this. So events are great at getting new contacts. So see what's going on. It doesn't have to be, a massive big. I live by the 3 Counties Showground. 500 quid for a table. I'm not paying that. But no, I'll go to the event and I'll slowly start handing my cards out and start taking the cards of the other event and stall holders. So you can start making those connections. Social media. That is a whole training in itself. My tip to you on social media is just showcase the fun you're having. Really show what your forever income is doing for you. Share your goals. Show what you're doing today. Do little videos of you and your friends on your table. If you're on a table and you don't know anyone else, make friends. Take photos, ask people's backstories. People love a testimonial. We're herd animals. We like to follow other people. Do things like that. And when people like or comment on it, just reach out to them and go, thank you so much for your support. How are you today? Just simply like that. That's all I do. I just connect with people. So don't worry about trying to be all fancy on social media. You don't have to twerk. I've never twerked or sung. Now Jane's sung. I think we've all got that on video. But I've never done anything like that. I don't have to act anything other than my genuine self. So that's all I would say. With social media, you can start collecting people just by being yourself and networking. Cards and flyers. Who's got cards and flyers? They are a really great asset, absolutely fantastic. If I go to a restaurant, I will prospect the waitress, but I'll also leave a couple of flyers on the table. If I'm at a service station toilet, I might put a couple of flyers behind the doors. I think Jane's got a manager from doing that, haven't you? Yeah. Toilet door manager. Wow, I thought my name was bad. In my local area, I'm Gut Girl. Toilet door manager and Gut Girl. It's great, isn't it, these names? So start to do that, because it is a little paper trail of you. But don't get caught up in investing hundreds of pounds in cards. Don't spend 70 hours on Vistaprint looking at designs. Just something simple that you can leave with your name and number. I've got some ladies in the team who have just recruited from leaving handwritten cards on a notice board in the co-op. So it doesn't have to be fancy. So have a look at what's going on in your area, notice boards, leave a little piece of you. It's so, so handy. You can't necessarily monitor the stats with that, but you know if you're getting 300 out in a week, you're potentially going to get a couple of calls back from that. Contact marketing. Who hates contact marketing? Be honest. Okay, Becky, proud of you for being honest. I'm going to change that. Who loves contact marketing? Contact marketing is absolutely awesome, because if you have no who do you know list at all, you don't know anybody, you can literally go and meet people wherever you go. So don't pay for your petrol at the pump, pay in the petrol station. Don't order stuff online, go to the local shops. So start to get in front of different types of people. Just chat to them. I love making people feel nice. So I'd say to you, oh my gosh, your blouse is gorgeous. Where did you get that from? I've been looking for a floral blouse. And you tell me, I go, oh my God, I love that, thank you. And then if you're a barista or you're at Tesco's binging and bonging my stuff, at the end of it, I'll just say, do you know what? I've really loved chatting with you. I would love someone like you to work with me. If I gave you some information about an opportunity I've got, a work from home job, would you have a look at some information? Yes or no? You'd say yes or no, and I'd give you my card, and I'd take your number as well. Or if you don't have cards, I'd say, are you on Facebook or Insta? Sorry to pick on you, but it's horrible, isn't it? It's like I've been at the front of a comedy show before. It's awful. Don't go for a week, because I will really slaughter you. But no, what you can, I don't even know where I am now. So yeah. If you haven't got a card or a flyer, you can literally just get your phone out and say, are you on social media? Most people are, aren't they? Most people. Even my gran was on social media. She didn't know how to use it. But you can then add them as a friend and say, I'll pop you some information. And that's how I do it. So if you spoke to only 2 people every day, that's 780 prospects across a year that you can get onto your who do you know list. If you've got really rubbish stats, then and you only recruited 50 people out of 780, that's still on average 4 a month. Who's recruiting 4 a month? No hands. Come on, girls. Pretend, put your hand up. Yeah, it works, Claire. No, but seriously, who would love that? So as one element of activity, just speaking to people everywhere. How many people have driven past a garage or a services on the way here and thought, oh, should have gone in there. Would have been able to put my hand up. Yeah, so just think about wherever you are, if there's a new person you can talk to, get talking to them. What else have we got? Reconnecting. Who's ever had someone say no to them? Okay. Oh, God. So there's either a lot of people who aren't prospecting or you're lying, because I've had a lot of people say no to me. Go back to them. You don't know about situations. So I have people that I have recruited who said no to me years ago, and they felt they couldn't come back to me because they had said no, or who's been ignored. You get the blue ticks that they've seen it and then no response. Yeah, and then they feel embarrassed, they feel ashamed. So you hold the olive branch out. You come back round, it could be a couple of months, it could be a couple of years. Just wanted to swing back round and see how life's treating you, what's happening in your world. Just start a conversation. You don't have to go, are you ready to join me yet? You can just have a conversation. Has anything changed since we last spoke? And then naturally they'll ask how you are. And then that's where you go, oh my God, life's amazing. I'm having an absolute blast. Anyway, back to you. How's your crappy little life? So start going back to all of those people that you connected with years ago. Start trawling back through your Facebook messages. It might be old WhatsApp messages. You might have old activity sheets. Get it all out. Go back through it because you might have a couple of little diamonds hiding away in there. So groups, that kind of loops in a little bit with events, but have you got, oh my gosh, toddler groups? I was literally all over them when I was childminding. It was brilliant. Just sidle up to another mum. How you doing? Which one's yours? You can't do that if you haven't got a kid. You look like a weirdo. So if you've got a child or a grandchild or access to a friend's child, offer to take them to the park, offer to take them to a toddler group, because there are a lot of bored mums there just sat scrolling on their socials. Start chatting to them. I do the same with my dog now. I recruited another woman and I was in the middle of a wood and she had a puppy, a Mastiff puppy. If anyone follows me on social, you see I've got a Mastiff puppy as well. And I just went, oh my God, I love your dog. Can I connect with you on social so I can watch him grow up? She didn't think I was mental. People don't think you're mental. And because we were on social media, I was drip feeding my amazing world of forever. And she was like, I really want a piece of that. And she was a vet and she came on board. And then I got a Mastiff puppy. So you never know who you're going to meet. Don't be scared to say, oh, I'm in social media. Can we connect? That's all I say. I don't say, oh, I've got my own business. I'm going to help you earn an extra income. It's aloe vera and we grow all our own aloe and there's goats and everything. They don't know any of that. I just say I'm in social media or I have my own business. I'd love to connect with you. People love to connect. Customers. Who's got customers? Okay, who has talked or who hasn't talked to their customers about the business? And I think Chris said it earlier on. Customers don't necessarily know that there's a business for them behind this. They haven't got a clue. A lot of my customers don't have a clue until I tell them, did you know that you could do this too? And they're like, really? So that's when I start to share the opportunity with them. And I do recruit an awful lot of my customers. And usually it's the ones that have had benefit from the weight management because they've got real belief in it. And it's the ones who have benefit from the gel drinks because they feel massive benefits with that. So think about those customers that you've developed, nurture them, show them the opportunity. You don't know where that can take you. And referrals. If you've ever had someone say no to you, don't be afraid to say, not a problem. Do you know just one person who might want to earn £500 a month working flexibly, working with me? And they might go, sugar, I've just said no. Now I want 500 quid. But I always say, do you know just one person? Because if I said to you, Roger, do you know anybody? You'd be like, oh, I don't know anybody. But if I said, do you know just one person? You'd be like, oh, my friend Brian. I reckon he'd be interested. Or I could give you his name or number. So always ask, do you know just one person? If ever they say no, ask your customers as well for referrals. Do you know anybody who would love gut health just like you? Because you never know where that might lead. Or do you know anybody who would like to earn an extra income doing what I do? They might then as well say, actually me. So everything needs to be a referral. Anyone who says yes, anyone who says no. If they say yes to your business and they've got referrals, they'll naturally become their team members. So what you need to do is choose 2 or 3 of these to do consistently, because that is going to give you amazing results. There's more detailed information on activity on the rolling training. So make sure you're watching all of those and picking up all that info. So your 7-day plan. Does anyone, if you want to admit it, work blindly on your business and just be like, activity, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just doing it? So you need to get a little bit of discipline, a little bit of control in what you're doing, because then you'll feel when you have your days where you're not doing as much, you'll be like, do you know what? I deserve a little bit of time off. That's fine, because I know I've done all of this activity. If you're working blindly, you don't actually know what's happening. You don't know what's coming. So having a plan means you've got something to work towards every day. And you won't hit burnout either, because you'll be able to focus on that plan. So on your plan, you need retail activities. So think about, okay, I want to do a gel drinking campaign. So my 7-day plan will be, on day 1, I'm going to think of one unique selling point for gel. I see so many people put posts, and I've done it before, and there's about 17 different reasons why you should drink gel on one post. No, drip feed it. Okay, so day 1, did you know? I always start it and I tell my team to do, did you know? Because it's a catchy little thing, isn't it, for people to look at. Did you know I drink aloe vera, or you can drink aloe vera for mental clarity? It's fantastic for your guts, and your guts are your engine. It's going to help you think clearly. Day 2. Did you know anything ending itis is inflammation? Aloe vera is a natural anti-inflammatory. If any of this is uncompliant, I'm sorry. It's a natural anti-inflammatory. Who has anything that aches? Day 3. Did you know aloe vera is fantastic for your skin? We can knock 10 years off of you by drinking aloe vera every day. Do you see what I'm saying? So keep it as a running theme, and that kind of tags into your social media. You're going to get people invested in your story and into your journey. They're going to follow you. So you don't want to just give it all in one go. You want to drip feed, keep people hanging on, listening to the next thing. Recruiting activities, put those on your 7-day plan. Okay, if you're going to go out carding, what day are you going to do that? Are you going to set yourself a challenge by putting 10 cards by your front door every day and making sure you're going to give 10 cards to 10 people that day? Or are you going to do it all in a one at the weekend because that's when your time is? What are you going to go contact marketing? Are you going to make 5 phone calls a day? Whatever you're doing, whatever your activity is, schedule it down, because it feels amazing when you tick it off. And you'll start to see the stuff that you actually avoid and the stuff that you really love doing. Just do more of what you love doing. If it's getting you results, just do more of it. Personal development. Does anybody do personal development in here? Does anyone go, I don't really know what you mean? I didn't know what it meant. I was like, what do you mean, personal development? For me, personal development is getting out in the countryside with my dogs so I can plan. Personal development for me is listening to an audio book for half an hour a day. I can't do any more than that because I get sidetracked, I lose concentration. So I make sure I schedule that in. Personal development for me is exercising and getting into new groups of people. So challenging myself mentally and physically. For me, that's personal development, and that's helping me grow as a person. But I actually put that in as work activity. So if any of you follow me, I do nighttime bike riding. That for me is that's activity, because I'm meeting new people, I'm getting exercise, I can blog about it. It's ticking loads of those activity lists off. And I've started now getting people asking me about the business. I haven't rammed it down their throat. I want them to come to me. So all of that for me is really helping me mentally, and it's helping my business grow as well. And I listen every day without fail, half an hour every morning. I listen to positive affirmations and manifesting tracks. My whole family walk around going, I am healthy and wealthy, because they just hear it on loop every morning. But even though they're taking the mick, I know it's sinking in. And trainings, get your trainings in. So feed yourself with knowledge. A lot of you here have probably, who are not new, heard all of this before. But who's heard a new golden nugget because maybe their mentality is in a different frame of mind? You might have heard it before, but now it resonates. Yeah, you're always growing, you're always changing. That's why I go to trainings all the time. You know, I haven't been a supervisor for 14 and a half years, yet I'm here learning how to get to supervisor again, because it will help me bring in an extra 25 case credits. Who doesn't want that? And it's going to help me coach my team as well. So I'm here with a different mentality. I'm learning from these guys to take notes to take back to my team. A lot of you are here learning for the first time to implement in your business. So never think you're too good for training. I promise you, you'll miss out massively. So we've heard about how to get to supervisor. Now what you do is you start to look at your activity chart. So whenever I do these charts with my team or myself, I always give myself a worst case and a best case, because this is all predicted info, isn't it? You can't guarantee exactly what's going to happen, because guess what? We work with actual people, and people can be quite annoying, can't they? Change plans on you. So what we do is we look at, right, what activity are you doing in your business? Okay. So personal use and gifts. Does that mean I'm going to get lots of presents from you all today? So personal use and gifts. And I literally give all of my family aloe, but that does slap me in the face, because they just wait for birthdays and Christmas to restock their aloe, because they know I'm going to restock it for them. I've literally just bought my mum 3 tubs of Arctic Sea for her birthday. Wow. She's blessed. So personal use and gifts. If you're on your own at home or a couple, you're probably going to be using about half a case credit. But if you've got kids, family, You've got a lot, there's a lot of you using the products. I use a lot of the weight management shakes. We get through a hell of a lot of gel. My daughter still doesn't understand, use less shampoo. She still feels a handful of it. So I have to buy more lots. We get through about a case credit, just ourselves. Then you look at repeat customers. So these are the customers you're investing your time in. I love my gel drinkers. I look after them. I give them like a little freebie for every 10 bottles they purchase with me. They get one free, or they get a sample for another product. Keep them loyal by looking after them. It could be that as you're beginning, half a case credit. It could be those repeat customers give you about a case credit. You've got online launches. We've heard from Jane explaining that already. It could be between 1 to 2. We've also got live launches. You can see by being in front of people, you get more. So get in front of people. I'm doing a launch tonight, but it's online because she lives a zillion miles away. It'll take me about 6 hours to drive to her. I consider anyone within an hour local, and I'm prepared to do 2 to 3 hours to drive to someone to launch their business. So you can do 1.5 to 3 case credits. Again, network in that room. C9s, look at the big case credit value products. So you've got the collagen, the C9s, things like that. So really focus on those. I don't tend to sell many lip balms and propolis creams. It doesn't mean I don't love them, but I do focus on a small product group. So I tend to sell collagen, C9s, Fit 15s, DX4s, aloe vera gel and shakes. Those are my top sellers, and they're all those consumables that people come back to. So half a case credit to a case credit. Experience packs are fantastic. Whilst you're busy, here you could have 3 or 4 different people in different houses trying out your products. You don't have to have 20 products in a pack. You don't have to spend a fortune. The duplicates in your business box are perfect. Somebody says, I want to try your skincare. You don't have to go and buy a whole skincare range. I just put in the liquid soap and maybe some propolis. Just say, try that on your face. It's gorgeous. They'll get to know it there. So you can do between 1 to 2 case credits. And sponsoring. So again, that recruitment activity, you're sponsoring between 1 to 3 people. That's 2 to 6 case credits. So you can see as you tot it up there, how you build the case credits by taking little bits from everywhere else. Does this make you feel a little bit better when you see that massive 25? Oh my God, how am I going to get 25? Actually, when we break it down over 2 months, it just makes those little chunks, those little elements smaller.